tomorrow. This comes almost a year after the controversy surrounding his comments made about Jurgen Klopp and taking drugs on camera. There's been no comment from him. Elsewhere this lunchtime, Thomas Tuchel's told talkSPORT that 5-0 win in Serbia was pure teamwork.
Showed a lot of quality on the ball and in transition, and we were ruthless in the finishing, so it was a top performance in an important moment.
Tuchel's not getting ahead of himself, though, and neither is former England midfielder Danny Murphy. He told White and Jordan that last night showed is what a super group of talented players Tuchel has.
The most positive thing is some of those lads who aren't particularly experienced and played loads of times for England did really well in a decent level of game. High pressure, high profile.
Just was superb at 10, and here's what Daily Mail journalist Craig Hope had to say about Anderson's performance in midfield.
There's something of Paul Gascoigne about him, the gait, the arms, the physique. I think Anderson's wonderful, and for me, they should build the team around him, not Jude Bellingham.
Meanwhile, Noni Madueke's prompted a conversation here about whether the injured Bukayo Saka gets straight back in the squad. Madueke's back in action for Arsenal this weekend. They're home to Nottingham Forest live on talkSPORT this Saturday lunchtime with Ange Postecoglou back in North London.
talkSPORT News.
Poland's Prime Minister has warned his country is closer to armed conflict now than at any other time since the Second World War. And the UK's ambassador to the US says it's very embarrassing that he once called paedophile Jeffrey Epstein his best pal. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Today it's raining tyres in our centres, including top-notch brands like Pirelli. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Rain and showers heavy and thundery at times, moving northeast throughout the day. Some sunny spells turning cooler from the west, windy in the southwest with possible gales.
This is Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs with you through until 4 here on talkSPORT. Where this afternoon, Andy, please tell us what's coming up.
I'd love to.
Oh, yeah, go on then.
Some enthusiasm for you.
Yeah.
Coming up over the next 3 hours, England legend Terry Butcher joins us to look back on last night's encouraging win over Serbia. Steve Harmison discusses...
No, he doesn't. I don't know what happened there. Sorry about that, Steve. He's not on. He's probably said, what? I'm on the radio? Sorry about that.
On Monday.
I don't know how that happened. Go on, keep going, Andy.
Evergreen singer-songwriter Rick Astley, he's definitely here.
He's definitely on, yeah.
Joins us for a rambling chat about touring, Oasis, televised coughing fits and his beloved Manchester United.
Yeah, interesting chat with Rick we had earlier on. We're going to bring that to you today. We'll ask you the question, is it sport? The highly decorated Geraint Thomas contemplates life after cycling, and we'll chat to the co-author of a worrying new report in how climate change could decimate football as we know it over the coming decades. Not designate. I've not had a good day. I've been busy.
There's all this. Plus, we'll assess tennis great Andy Murray's chances of playing in the Open Golf.
That's definitely happening too.
Tim Vickery brings us the latest from South America, and we'll discover what it's like to run a boozy half-marathon round a winery.
Get Alan back in his running shorts again, definitely.
Absolutely.
That's all coming up. Some of it is anyway. 4 minutes past 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Andy.
Good afternoon, Paul. Good afternoon, everybody. Somebody sent me a DM to my Instagram saying they bet every day whether I'm going to say good afternoon just to you or good afternoon, everybody.
Okay.
It's funny, he says it helps him while away the time.
Really?
Anyway, so now it's in my head now, so now I know I've got to say. It's only because I'm rude and I don't say good afternoon to everybody.
No, you are quite a rude man.
I am a very rude man.
Yeah.
Anyway, to last night.
Yeah, that was a bit, as we said, encouraging, wasn't it?
Very encouraging, always very encouraging to see an England team players playing like they do for their clubs, like Morgan Rogers, playing like he does when he's on form for Villa. It was great to see. And I thought, it was very, very enjoyable. And it was very interesting at the end, though. They were having a debate about Morgan Rogers and Jude Bellingham. Can you get them into both sides? And I said to you before, that is so the wrong approach.
It's been the England problem for years. Can we get them both in the team?
No, we can't. What you have to do is you have to have a system, and then it's either Rogers or Bellingham or Palmer. It's not both of them, or three of them. It's one of them.
Yeah. I mean, and it's a cliche and it's the ultimate, but it's a good problem to have, isn't it? I mean, I think over there, when these players do start to come back, that one or two maybe will have to park their egos around international, and in some cases, one or two of their parents may have to park their egos.
Because I can't imagine who you're talking.
Yeah, but because if someone's got the shirt and they're playing well, maybe they'll start. Maybe you're going to have to be prepared to have an impact off the bench. But to have that depth to say, if X isn't fit, then Y can step in and we trust them to do it. I mean, just last night, I joked to Jim yesterday, because Jim Proudfoot, our match commentator last night, who'd done all his research on Serbia, I said, are we likely to see a slightly better quality low block? And I think Jim sort of sensed, like me, that's what we were going to see. And effectively, when we saw the setup of one striker, we did, didn't we? Knew that. But England moved the ball quicker. They moved them around more. And even from the off, with Gordon taking on the full-back and Reece James putting in crosses.
Cross. But there was a period, it did go a bit quiet, and I've written, if you play with the low block, you should automatically start 1-0 down.
Yeah.
It's my new...
No, I also think I've got a thing, there's a stamp now. If your fans, if you turn up to a game and your fans have either or of these, if someone in the crowd has a whistle, or somebody in the crowd has a laser pen, FIFA or UEFA are allowed to stamp the word tin pot next to their name. So it is the ultimate tin pot move. You go to some games, you think, oh, really? Your laser, you've got your laser pen, and you've got your refs. To the point where they thought it was the full... I mean, that was great. The Serbian fan in the crowd blew the full-time whistle in the style of a referee. But Clement Turpin had to say, carry on, there's a minute left.
Definitely a referee, that bloke, or a linesman.
He was spotting stuff.
Every time it was like offside, that's when he blew. It wasn't offside, but he blew for it to hope that,
So you don't think it was like Eshousery? You think he was it was part of his refereeing course?
Yes, very much so, yeah.
So we'd just like to say, if you're somebody who's doing a refereeing course or a grassroots ref, don't start taking a whistle at games, because I think people should kick you out and stamp tin pot next to your name. Anything else that deserves the stamp tin pot in the world of football, we would love to know. So other things in the world of football that definitely deserve the stamp tin pot, apart from whistles in the crowd and indeed laser pens.
Everybody's having their 2 cents worth about Ange and the problems of him going into Forest, and with a completely different approach to Nuno and the players and blah, blah.
Yeah.
I think that people are going to be surprised. I think you're going to see pragmatic Ange, especially in the initial stages. A bit like he did with Spurs towards the end in that Europa Cup. I think he's going to play it like that.
I think your pen's leaking, Andy. I've just noticed.
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
His hands are covered in ink. Look at that. Show that. I thought, what's that on his hands? Has he had his hands tattooed? Has he got like CFC on his knuckles or so? He's finally gone for it.
That's mad, isn't it? But never mind.
Anyway, we'll get you some wipes.
I think he'll surprise. I mean, look, he might.
I said yesterday.
I might be wrong, and he goes full Ange at Spurs.
Well, the two faces of Ange we've seen, I pointed out yesterday, Kamikaze Ange and Rorke's Drift Ange. But there is a kind of fine balance between the two. And the personnel he's got at Forest, I think, will play into what he wants to. He's going to be very excited about Elliot Anderson, isn't he? Talking of which, our own Troy Deeney's having a chat with Callum Hudson-Odoi. And so we're going to hopefully bring you a little bit of that later. I'm sure Ange's name is bound to come up. So we'll try and bring you a little bit of that chat later on in the show.
And I was thinking about you the other day because I was reading David Mellor's column in the Mail on Sunday. In the Mail on Sunday. He said he was celebrating the life of the great pianist Alfred Brendel, who died in...
Who?
Alfred Brendel.
I don't know Alfred Brendel. Do you know him, the great pianist?
I don't know him, but he says here the great pianist. I'm not going to deny it.
The great pianist Alfred Brendel.
Let's not have a debate on it. 871.
Can we find Kitch? Can we find a bit of Alfred Brendel on the piano? And we'll make our own mind up whether he was great or not.
Yeah, I think he was.
Sorry, Alfred. Yeah. If you're listening, two different stories. Sorry, Alfred.
He died in June '94.
Oh, okay.
And no, he died in June, age 94.
Oh, I was going to say, is he only just paying tribute to him now? He's a bit of a slow burner, David Mellor.
So anyway,
he always leaves it a year.
This is what Mellor said. He said, I had the privilege of doing a number of broadcasts with him. I thought, yes, he was very good on lower league football.
Yeah. The reason we do this is that you may recall on another
a long time ago,
another radio station, they decided it'd be a good idea to make David Mellor do the football phone-in because he was a Chelsea fan, although he had actually been a Fulham fan
Didn't
first.
He replace Danny Kelly?
And that should have the word tin pot put next to it. Yeah, well, you changed teams. He appeared in the Fulham programme kicking a ball around. So, but what he would do is they'd say, Keith has phoned up. I mean, he was, proper, grassroots. Keith has phoned up, and he's a Chesterfield fan. And clearly, David Mellor didn't know Chesterfield's result from a hole in the ground. So, but you could hear the paper rustling. You could hear it. So he'd get the newspaper up, or a researcher would run in with the league table, and he'd say, "Keith, I see you had the 1-0 victory yesterday over," and he's hurriedly looking. And it was like Ted and Ralph, wasn't it? It was a bit. Not my cup of tea, really. Not when you've got Danny Kelly to choose from instead, or indeed Danny Baker, but there we are.
That's true.
I wasn't in charge of the schedule. So Terry Butcher's going to join us. Tin Pot, the stamp, laser pens, taking a whistle at the match.
Yeah.
Anything else we should add to that? talksport.com. Vuvuzela's drums, Tannoy Ultras.
Oh, yeah.
Tin Pot, says Anthony, the Liverpool fan.
Very annoying.
Andy's leaky pen. What a waste of ink, says Alex in Walthamstow. Beautiful.
Brilliant.
It's a one for the completists.
Excellent stuff there.
So, yeah, Terry, I'm doing it now. And joining us today is Terry... Terry, I can't get out of it when I start. It's a bit like the Trevor Brooking game. Terry Butcher, Terry, the former England and Ipswich centre half and legend.
Do this the whole
I can't do it. No, just. I mean, I found it hard enough to listen to then. You can't do 3 hours of that. Sub Mellor. Rick Astley was. So we've had a chat with Rick earlier on. He was in earlier on. He was great fun. We covered an awful lot of ground. And including Manchester United. So we're going to play you that.
I said to him, Rick, you've got to...
Yeah. I see your new single, your new tour. Stop it, Andy. Rick Astley's going to join us. He's joined us, let's be honest. I mean, you'll tell it will look completely different and sound completely different. That's not lies, not coming in 10 minutes. It's a pre-record. But it's a really interesting chat, so hope you enjoy that. Geraint Thomas joins us. What a way to sign off. In Wales, in Cardiff, with his son on the handlebars in the Lloyd's Tour of Britain. So we're going to be chatting to him. Like he's got a gig lined up. He'll tell us a bit about that. What else we got for you? We're going to be chatting to Adrian Durham before he gets back on the plane from Belgrade. His reflections on last night.
His ratings are always good.
Yeah. Andy Hepburn.
He'll find, even amongst that 5-0 there, he'll find somebody that's like a 2.
Yeah.
I don't know who it could be, but
he's he's tough on the players sometimes. Yeah, what's it like to run a boozy half marathon? Every mile you get a glass of wine and a snack for 13 miles.
I'm not sure about that.
It's around a winery. We'll find out a bit. It sounds a bit health and safety worry. Anyway, we'll find out more. Tim Vickery, they've had the South American qualifying. We'll find out more about that. And Rupert Bell joins us to cover quite a bit of ground. No racing today. We'll touch on that. Andy Murray wants to play in the Open golf. He's become obsessed with golf. He's playing a lot.
Down to 2, I think.
Wants to get down to scratch. And then if he gets down to scratch, I think you pay a couple of grand, which I think he can afford.
Yeah, I think so.
He can go for Open qualifying. So, and he seems pretty serious about it, and he's loving his golf. I mean, he's obviously got good hand-eye, you would imagine.
Well, you'd imagine so.
So we'll have a chat with Rupert about that, his chances of doing it, and his route possibly to the Open. And, some of the Villa boys. It was a good night for the Villa boys last night, from an England point of view. So we'll cover that. Lots of other stuff as well. And said a couple of hits at a really interesting chat with singing sensation Rick Astley. But it's great. Terry Butcher kicks us off next. As we look back on England, get the thoughts of Terry. We're here with our good friends at Toolstation. Next up, Toolstation, just to remind you, talksport.com/H&J to get in touch. Text to 81089, tweet to TSH&J 03717 22 3344.
It's a campaign full of flawless results, but full of flawed performances.
Where an eye-catching win could reset perception and set the tone for the 10 months ahead.
Never put a limit to my expectations.
It's a masterclass at the moment from England in possession football.
Another away swinger from Declan Rice. More curve on that, and he's headed in off the inside of the post. Harry Kane attacking it.
And we made it look easy in the end, but we know how difficult these games can be.
Anderson has played it forward. It's a clever touch around the corner. Madueke inside the penalty area, and it's 2. This is much better from England.
I saw the behaviour, I saw the energy, I saw the details.
Are you entertained? I am, definitely.
Shorty's going to be bundled over the line for 3, it is eventually, and it's Ezri Konsa that has got the goal.
It's a moment I've jumped off since I was a kid.
Serbia reduced the 10 men. Milenkovic with a sliding challenge. He's brought Kane down. Played in towards Gahey for 4. It just gets better and better.
What we can do to teams is frightening.
Rashford has spotted the ball down. Guttering run up and rolls it past him into the bottom left-hand corner. And England, with a 5-star performance, have a 5-0 lead in Belgrade.
And now it's on us to keep the thing going.
England magnificent. Serbia 0. England 5.
Yes, that was more like it. Players playing as we know they can. And to be fair, Thomas Tuchel, he seemed pretty chilled about the whole thing, and he felt last night it was all going to come together. And so it proved. Let's get the thoughts now of an England legend, former England centre-half, Terry Butcher, joins us. Hi, Terry.
Hi, guys.
So, what did you make of it, Terry? It was a much easier, much more enjoyable watch, wasn't it?
Well, it was. I mean, Serbia are ranked 32 in the world ranking, so they're unbeaten at their home turf for quite a while. So they would come out a lot more than the other teams that we played recently, who just sit back and park the bus. So by coming out and attacking England then found spaces to attack and counter-attack pretty quickly. And I think it augurs well for the future when you're going to play the top teams. The top teams will want to beat us and attack us. And, that leaves space for a very exciting attacking team from England.
It was a bit odd by Dragan Stojkovic. I'm sure he's getting some clog in the Serbian press today because, England weren't at their most confident, and he has got good players, and he could have played 2 up top. He had options, but they were pretty defensive and sat back, and, they really didn't give England... They didn't have a shot on target, Terry, at all.
No. I mean, they would have fancied it. I mean, I've been in an England team that's gone to Belgrade and, sort of scored very early, and we won the match 4-1 to qualify for the Euros in '88. And I think it's sometimes, you've got to take on the fans, you've got to take on the team, and it sort of makes you more united as a team and makes us more strong. Plus the fact that we sort of intimidated them in the tunnel as we normally did, and that worked wonders for us. So presumably they must have worked wonders in the tunnel as well. So pretty much good.
Interesting, Harry Kane scored once again. There's no sign of him diminishing, is it? People had a go on Saturday and said he only touched it 12 times, but it doesn't matter, does it? If he does what he does and scores a goal like that, you're going to forgive him everything, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, my main worry is, if he does get injured or he does, lose a bit of form, but that's never sort of really happened. But when he gets injured, if he gets injured, who have we got to replace him? Probably Ollie Watkins would be the one that would step in. He got a run out later on in the game. But, the way that England attacked and the system that he played as well was like a 4-1-4-1, which could easily turn into a 4-3-3. And I know you talk tactically about systems as the players, but I think that sort of, Elliot Anderson in the middle of the park was a real bonus for us. I think the way that he played in both matches in particular and kept circulating the ball and feeding the wider men in particular. And we had a good balance going forward, and we had a lot of good, exciting players going forward. And he's got a massive problem now, Thomas Tuchel, because, where does Saka fit into his next teams, and where does Bellingham fit into his next teams as well?
It's good though, because those players realise now that they get, when they do get selected, they're going to have to
be on their toes. Yeah. I mean, during your time with England, managers have to make difficult calls all the time. Bobby Robson, your old manager. Do you build a midfield around Glenn Hoddle? Do you build a midfield around Brian Robson? Sometimes you have to go with your principles, get a system that way you want to play, and stick with it, and not try and shoehorn personnel into a team.
Yeah, that's definitely right. The manager looks at what he's got, what suits the system, and then makes it fit around the players rather than the other way around. I mean, I think we had Ericsson that was sort of try to shoehorn players in. Remember, Scholes was playing on the left-hand side of midfield, which is not really his role. So, you say play your best players, but you've got to have a blend and the right blend. And I think last night worked really well. And it just shows that, when England can attack and when they are sort of, taking the shackles off, then, they're a good, exciting team. And what pleased me in particular was they were very strong at the back as well. And as you say, never had a shot, Serbia. But that was due to the defensive display as well. And I like the two centre-halves, Gay and Konza. And I like that strength. And it's typical when you get down the other end and you get chances with the two centre-halves that they're very deadly from a yard like I was. So that little tap-ins.
Yours was normally with your head, Terry. It was quite interesting. Both you got the centre half scored last night with their feet, didn't they?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I only scored 3 for England, and that was a left foot, right foot, and header. So I got perfect variety. Yeah, perfect. But no, it's they're just in the right place at the right time. But the set pieces were good as well, weren't they? Obviously with balls going into the box from Declan Rice in particular. The players have worked out hard on that, and they're reaping the rewards. But I just liked it. I think it's a complete contrast to the other games, and I think that will give the players a lot of confidence. But it's good to know when you're playing against better quality teams that England can really step up. But we've had enough of this 10-man defensive block trying to break it down. If teams do sit back, and obviously Serbia sat back a little bit, but they fancied themselves. And when you're playing in front of your home crowd, you've got to attack. They had the threat on the break potentially, which is sharpen the minds of the England team. So I mean, look, we were a bit down on them before last night. Now everybody's getting carried away. But there are some great teams out there, aren't there? Spain and Brazil and lots of other teams.
Argentina is still good.
Argentina, we still got a lot of work to do, and not a lot of quality opposition to come.
That's
really,
a pity, I think.
Before the World Cup, they're going to try and they're lining up some games, aren't they? And there's still some qualifiers. Wales will. I mean, that'll have an edge to it. But
what you want to be is be playing a Brazil or an Argentina or Italy or France. That's what you want.
That's often a problem before a tournament when you've qualified quite easily, Terry, isn't it?
Yeah, and a lot of players last night. There weren't many experienced players last night. Not many players with over 20 caps. So. You've got to sort of build the strength, but you've got to ask these players that haven't had a lot of international sort of quality opposition and played in big tournaments, that they've got to step up. But look, they're confident players. They've got great ability. It's a good system. It's a good team. And obviously, everybody tips them as favourites, particularly the English, of course. But, you never know. It would be nice for that sort of squad with Bellingham and with Saka and with other players as well. To go to a World Cup. That's very exciting. And I think a lot of teams would fear England as well and, obviously try and do the job on England defensively. But teams will come out and attack, like I say. So that leaves a space wide open. And the thing about what we do have is good pace. Not so much with Harry Kane, of course, but he just scores. But we have got good pace all throughout the team. Yeah, and starting to show a bit of depth as well, which would worry people off the bench. So, potentially exciting times. Always a pleasure, Terry. Good to talk to you. Thanks very much. Thanks, guys. All the best. Bye. Terry Butcher there, England legend. Our thanks to him.
Set plays are such a good way to break a low block.
Yeah.
Break the game.
I mean, that was ropey marking, wasn't it? I mean, of all the players to leave free.
I know, but he's like invisible.
Yeah.
When he does.
His movement is great. Yeah. Amazing. So, our big win and the latest episode of the brand new refurbished talkSPORT Daily podcast is available now. As Adrian Durham, who we'll chat to later, Jim White and former England captain Stuart Pearce discuss England's dominant win over Serbia. So you can tune in on the talkSPORT app or wherever you get your podcast to find out what Stuart and the gang had to say about last night. We're going to be having a chat with Rick Astley. Rick Astley. Who's Rick Astley? Rick Astley. We spoke to him earlier on. It was a good old
Rick Astley.
You've got to have a system. That's right. We covered a lot of ground with him, didn't we? His career, what he's up to at the moment, fair bit of Manchester United. So we'll bring you part one of that, of our sort of rambling chat with Rick in a few moments' time. And then from the world of cycling, Geraint Thomas is going to join us for a chat this hour as well. So that's all to come.
Thomas Tuchel says his England players should get the credit they deserve after that thumping win in Serbia.
I saw a hard-working team, I saw a physical team today that helped each other out, love to play with each other, love to work for each other.
Well, the boss now has selection headaches with Madueke, Anderson and Rodgers all performing well. Konza and Gahey also look pretty composed at the back, and John Terry has told talkSPORT Tuchel needs a choice of versatile defenders.
You've got to be adaptable in the national level as well. I see that I think in one tournament I played with 4 different partners.
Well, England's supporters also impressed. They've been praised by Serbian police, but there were several incidents involving the home fans and the game was stopped after a laser pen was shone in Konza's face. Elsewhere, Craig Bellamy hopes Wales meet Canada again, but this time in a World Cup. He's fuming with Jesse Marsh, who shook his own coach's hands before the final whistle. The Canadians beat Wales 1-0. Republic of Ireland boss Heimir Hallgrimsson admits he'll consider his position following a 2-1 defeat to 105th ranked Armenia. And the owners of the financially stricken rugby league side Salford Red Devils are facing questions over trying to buy their stadium using a fake bank statement. But co-owner Curtis Brown has told The Sun every document we've supplied has been true and accurate.
That is Rick Astley. That's a new song from him. He's on tour next year, and he popped in to see us here at talkSPORT a little bit earlier on, and we had a very rambling chat about some of the collaborations he's done and people he's worked with, and Never Gonna Give You Up and all the mayhem around that, and Rick rolling and all manner of stuff. Of course, football, and we had a more considered chat about Manchester United that we'll bring you a bit later on. But we did kick off chatting to Rick about his footballing allegiances.
It's been a tough 10 years or so, yeah, but I am still the Man United.
You had all the
fan.
glory, you've got to take the rap.
You do indeed.
But you're touring next year, aren't you?
We are. April the 10th we start in Glasgow. And that's always a good place to start, to be honest.
Good crowd. They used to say for comedians, it was tough going unless you were from Glasgow, but you don't find that music.
I think with music, it's a great city anyway. Our daughter married a Jap from Glasgow.
Oh, okay.
So I've sort of got a bit closer with it over this last couple of years and stuff. And but it's a great city anyway, I think. And music-wise, there's been some great bands from there. They've just got a good heritage of music, I think. So yeah, it's always a good place to start.
So yeah, I mean, tell us a bit about the tour. I mean, Gabrielle's, you're going...
Yeah. We've toured together before in 2018. She just got some great tunes. And I'll be honest about it. When you're doing some of the bigger arenas, and we are this time, you know, going to end in the O2, it's like you need somebody great on tour with you who's got some bangers. Do you know?
Yeah. Do you sing together at all? Because I know you like...
We don't. Well, we haven't done. I don't know. Let's put that out there. No, we haven't done before. But no, I actually went to one of her gigs when she first started. A friend and I just heard a couple of the tunes and thought they were great. So we went to see her. And I just remember walking away from that gig thinking, one, she's got a really distinct voice. Like when she sings, you instantly know it's her. And that's so valuable, I think, in pop music. But the songs have just stood up over the years, they're just great songs, you know, proper songs. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's always good. We had Belinda Carlisle came with us last time. And like I said, it's always good to have somebody who's got some monster tunes. You've got a few.
You've got a few.
I'm very proud of my little whatever and all that. It's great, but I'm just being realistic when you're playing some of the big arenas. Also, because it just takes a long time for people to get in, and they want a show, they want an evening out, you know. So
your collaborations have been interesting along the way. And most recently with Blossoms, who are big City fans, so there must have been a bit of
they are. A few of the guys are big time into City, and I've been to City.
Stockport as well, I think.
Yeah. Actually, Charlie, the bass player, supports Liverpool.
Oh, right.
So that's a bit of a weird one. But I've been to City with the guys, actually. They played Fulham that day, and it was a draw. It was a bit of a... Because I think they were really proud to take me. Well, yeah. But I think they were really proud to sort of take me, sort of thing. Like, you know, this is our team. City were winning everything. It was a couple of years back. And, and then Fulham came up and, you know...
Are you often surprised? I mean, obviously the Rick rolling thing made it global, but are you kind of often surprised by the amount of people, like the Foo Fighters thing, that do know you and know you?
It's a bit weird. I think that one particular song, Never Gonna Give You Up, obviously has been an earworm, I guess, and it's found its way onto the internet in so many different ways because of the Rick rolling and then other things, that it's just one of them tunes, really. And I kind of have, I'm sure some artists would be freaked by that. I kind of go the other way. I'm kind of like Thank Evans, you know. But yeah, it is a bit weird when someone such as Dave Grohl walks to the side of the stage in the middle of a Foo Fighters gig in Tokyo for 80,000 people, and then 15 minutes later, one of his crew comes over and says, David actually like you out the front, here's a microphone. So it's like, I'd literally met him for 15 seconds, 15 minutes ago, and then you're out there singing with them. So
and did you do Never Gonna Give You Up?
Yeah, big time we did. Their version of it. No, but it's because I walked out there and I didn't know why. I also kind of thought they might have just been going, guess who's here? That dude. This is the Rick rolling dude. Or I didn't know they were going to get me to sing. And he just leaned in and said, so we're going to do your tune, but it's going to sound a bit like Teen Spirit. And I went, get in.
Wow.
So off we went and did it,
What
really
great feeling.
Yeah, it's amazing.
They just sort of bust it, did they?
I think they'd sort of learnt it for some other reason. They'd been on a TV show where they'd been asked to do something on a cover and whatever, and they'd just bash this thing or whatever. So, but I'd say bashed it out. It was pretty epic, to be honest. And considering, like, that's not in their set.
I just like the idea. It would have been great if they could. I just like the idea of a band like Foo Fighters going, D flat.
You got that wrong. No, it was great. And I think the best thing for us, fun-wise, was that we got to hang out with them after a bit. They were going to Korea, I think, after the day after to do some gigs, and we were staying in Japan. So we just hung out and had a few beers and had just a chat and a laugh. And it was just... one of the weird things today with music, I think, is that back in the day, my day, if you were in rock, you were in rock, and if you were in pop, you were in that, and if you know, and it was very separate, and it was very, we don't really get on with them people, and we don't, you know what I mean? And now with the way festivals have gone, it's just like that, and people are really happy to hang out and just, you know, so it's pretty cool.
The collaboration with Blossoms and the Smith stuff. I mean, Morrissey's got a very complicated relationship with the Smiths as it is.
Indeed.
So what?
How?
I mean, what was
I met Blossoms when the Manchester Arena reopened. Noel Gallagher headlined, and he very graciously had everyone in his room afterwards, you know, for a chat and what. So we all piled in there, and I got chatting to the guys, and then they asked me, did I want to do their podcast? So I did that, and part of the podcast is talking about music, and especially from Manchester and that area and everything. And I named about 3 Smith songs in my favourite songs as a kid growing up and everything. And we got into talking about that, and I kind of said, well, in another universe, I want to have a special night one day, and that can be in a pub, by the way. It doesn't have to be, you know, in a back garden or do whatever, where I just sing Smith songs, because I do it for myself on a walk in the morning, or I built a shed in lockdown. And from scratch, by the way.
That's pretty good going.
Slate roof, Let it finishes. Tool station. Hold the phone.
You're going to get your own DIY stuff.
Do you know what I mean?
What a plug.
And
they'll love that.
And one of the things I did during that was I listened again to albums that I loved as a kid, or even an artist, and went through the whole career.
Yeah.
So I do sing a lot of Smiths songs to myself all the time anyway, in the shower and in the car and what have you. And I just thought one time in my life, and I've seen cover bands do the Smiths, do you know what I mean? Like a band who just go out and do Smiths.
Yeah.
I thought, I'd love to do that one night. Just sing some of your favourite songs, but en masse, but do it properly. And I told the guys this, and a couple of weeks later, they kind of emailed me back saying, we've had to think about it, and we're up for being the band if you want to do it.
Brilliant.
So, listen, I know on the one end, it's sort of sacrilege, and I understand some people getting upset about it and saying they shouldn't be doing that. I get all of that, but I'm just too old to care anymore. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it was like, and the irony being is the guys, literally, you know, I'm old enough to be their dad.
Yeah.
And yet their love of those songs and their devotion to playing them properly was every much, you know, in the exact same way that I felt about it. Was just like this, just love those songs, love that band, want to do it.
You mentioned Tokyo there, and your success has been worldwide. You were an answer in Pointless this week, who's had 2 or more US #1s.
Oh, well.
You were amongst that.
Was I? Oh, boom. There you go. Yeah.
They get it right.
Yeah.
No, it was Pointless.
Oh, okay.
Not Rick's career. You know.
Yeah, no, the America thing was a bit bonkers, because obviously I started with Stock Aitken Waterman, and they were massive here in loads of different places. And 1 or 2 of the artists that they worked with, obviously Bananarama had already had hit records there, but not many people really crossed over in that way. Nobody kind of, Kylie's massive there now, but I don't know whether she was from the get-go with the guys and everything. And it was a bit weird when that first record went to #1, because it was a bit like, this isn't really supposed to be happening. Do you know what I mean? And we kind of did it again, sort of thing. And so yeah, and in a way in America, my thing was a bit different than here, because the DJs kind of knew Stock Aitken Waterman were, but they weren't playing their records all the time, so they didn't really care.
Yeah.
And so when I did interviews and TV shows and everything, if I did one here, 50% of it would be about talking about Stock Aitken Waterman, because they were this kind of mythical team of producers, you know, in a bunker not far from here, actually. And yet when I went to America, they don't really care, you know.
Yeah, it's interesting. Still making great music. I mean, Try, the track Try, I love it. It's on my Spotify. It's a brilliant track.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Do you write sort of alone, or do you work with
I've made well, when I was about to turn 50, which is 10 years ago, I'm going to be 60 next year. I just thought, you know what, I'm going to have a go.
Very young compared to us.
Whippersnapper.
You're both looking
You're a whippersnapper.
very well. Must be this altitude. I just thought, you know what, I've got a little studio in the garage at home. It's a nice garage, but anyway, I just thought
You didn't build that as well, did you?
No, I didn't do that. I just thought I'm going to have a go at doing some new music, but without the pressure. I'm not signed to anybody. No one knows. I'll just have a go at it because I want to do it. So I made a record at home, basically, and I wrote it all, played it all, did it all, produced it, blah, blah. And we eventually went to the record label, who has all my old catalogue and everything.
Yeah.
And they were super up for doing it. And they've been amazing, actually. They've really kind of, instead of going, so we've got this old dude's catalogue, we can probably sort of prop that up a bit if you'll go out and be on a couple of TVs and radios. They kind of said, no, we're going to go for this. We're going for it. And we had a #1 album, and, you know, it was just bonkers. And this is like with new songs. So the next time we went out to play like a proper tour, obviously I play my old ones, I would never not do, and I'm grateful for them. But we played new songs and people stayed where they were. And that's
great.
As you get older, that is like an amazing moment. There's still people who go to the bathroom when you do a new one, but to see generally people kind of go, no, we can, you're all right, you can play some of this, it's okay.
Where'd you put Never Gonna Give You Up in the set record? Maybe I might
always play it because half the people leave, won't they?
I remember years ago, Ray Davies used to always come on stage with the Kinks, and he'd play the opening few bars on acoustic guitar to Lola. Crowd would go mad, but then they'd play something else. I just keep that going for a couple of hours.
I've done a thing. I have done a thing occasionally where I think sometimes when if it's a rowdy crowd, let's say, or a certain venue where you kind of like, I think people might have had a few, you know. I'll sometimes do something similar where I'll say, right, anybody who's going to catch a bus, we'll do a bit. So we do a bit of Never Gonna Give You Up. Right, you can go now. And, you know,
get the last train.
Because if someone's, you know, had too many and just hanging on in there for that song, it's like, we've done it, you can go. Let's get on with the rest of the gig. But I normally do it last because it's obviously, without doubt, miles ahead, biggest song I've got. And it sort of seems a shame to play it too early. It's funny, I toured with Aha in Australia just before lockdown. Literally, the last gigs we did were in Australia and New Zealand. We flew to Japan, but we couldn't do the gigs, so we flew home. And they were doing the first album in its entirety, and obviously lots of their other hits, but they were playing that as an album. So when the show started, they went out and played that tune. And you're like, where do we go from here? That's one of the biggest songs on the internet, full stop. I mean, it's monstrous, that song. It's massive, the streaming for it. And it's an amazing tune and everything. But it's like, you've just started with Take On Me. Where do we go from here? It was a great record anyway, and they've actually got a lot of hits. More than most, including me, would have sort of remembered, because I'm getting on and I can't remember my name. But it's like, so, oh yeah. But when they did that for the first song, I'm like, you guys
have a lot of faith in the fan base.
In reverse at least, do song 10.
There we are, Rick Astley. We got into Manchester United in a lot more detail a little bit later on, and we'll bring you that chat just at the start of the third hour, just after 3 o'clock today. But Rick's on tour next year, playing an Enorma Dome near you. I think he starts in Glasgow, as he said, and he ends at the O2, but he's taken him most big cities in the country, the Reflection Tour 2026, and you can get your tickets now. But
Erin just asked me, she said, is he still touring? And I said to her, he's never going to give that up.
Yeah.
Said, really?
It got a massive laugh, and I thought...
It was her reaction that got the laugh.
They're easily pleased, Megan and Erin, aren't they? Comedy-wise.
That's why they love listening to this show.
You were like a kind of Eddie Murphy, Peter Kay hybrid in their eyes with that one-liner. Quite amazing. Baker doesn't get laughs that easily. He has to really work for them on this show. He's also the king of Tin Pot. Not him personally, but he's got a thing about things being Tin Pot in football. Funnily enough, we're talking about that today in light of the Serbian fans with the referees whistling the crowd and their laser pens. And you've got your list of tin pottery. We'll bring that to you very shortly. Before that, though, Geraint Thomas signed off in some style. What a way to sign off. If you haven't seen it, we'll be discussing it with him shortly. And looking back on a glittering career. And indeed, what comes next for him now is... do you hang up your saddle? I'm not quite... I suppose you do. What do you hang up?
Saddle.
Yeah, that'll do. We'll have a chat with Geraint very shortly. We're here with our good friends at Tool Station.
Handlebars.
Possibly. Stay one step ahead, whatever the job, next stop, Tool Station. Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Geraint Thomas, the much decorated cyclist, signed off in the most incredible way the other day during the Lloyd's Tour of Britain in Cardiff, hometown, with his son Max on the handlebars. And he joins us now. Hi, Geraint.
Hey, good afternoon.
Well, yeah, what I mean, they say if Carlsberg did sign-offs.
Yeah, exactly. It was an unbelievable week, to be honest. Like, they made a special jersey for me all week. I had a special bike made, which was just a nice surprise on the start. And to finish off in Wales on the weekend and riding into Cardiff past a load of landmarks that mean so much to me personally was unbelievable. So, couldn't have done it any better.
Was there one particular moment that you thought, yeah, that's probably enough now?
Probably when I just couldn't stop crying on getting interviewed by S4C, and I was just like, oh mate, I just I need to just a bit of time on my own just to get myself together. I had so many people that meant so much to me as well there. Obviously my family as well, with Max and Sarah, my wife. So it was special, and it's such a great atmosphere. There was so many people come out, and luckily the weather wasn't as bad as forecast. And it was a great day. I always remember it.
Yeah. Is there one standout moment? I mean, you won so much, of course, but is there one standout moment from the career that you'll kind of look back on and say, yeah, that was the moment?
I think the Tour, obviously, the Tour de France was something that just changed my life. Since then, just seemed to get recognised everywhere, even in America, which you never really expect. You know, I had one guy wind down his window and he's like, hey man, who do you think you are, Geraint Thomas? Look over at him and he was like, holy moly. So yeah, it was that was weird. And but yeah, it's just been since then. I'm lucky enough to have quite a few good moments to choose from, but the Tour definitely tops it.
Did you? I mean, you preferred being out on the road, I take it, to being in the velodrome, although you had great success there.
Yeah, it all started on the track in the velodrome, but yeah, the road is a lot more variety. You know, the track and in the gym is, you know, as people back home probably know, it's pretty mundane. So, you know, on the road, there's just so much more going on, you know, different weather conditions and up and down hills, and you see some pretty cool places as well. So yeah, the road is where it's at for me.
It's amazing how popular cycling is now. There's as you know, a tube strike in London, and my son was saying to me it was like the Tour de France. It was like the peloton.
It's like Beijing.
There were so many cyclists.
Yeah,
which is a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And that's kind of, now I've finished, kind of one of the things I'd really like to sort of give back is just sort of, along with Lloyd's, is spreading that joy of cycling, you know, trying to get more people on the bike just to enjoy it. It's not about finding the next, you know, Tour de France winner or whatever. It's just a healthy way of getting around, isn't it? And it's good for you and good for the environment and etc. So, yeah, I think that I have seen the clips of that actually down in London, so that's been good to see.
But I guess part of your legacy and a lot of other great British cyclists' legacy and the success we've had is that a lot more people don't just want to ride bikes, they want to ride bikes competitively. So you probably look at the kind of groundswell of grassroots cyclists coming through in competition now in this country, and it's a bigger pool probably than when you started, sort of, you know, 19 years ago or whatever.
Oh, definitely. I think I was lucky to sort of be at the right age, right at the start of the sort of boom, really, in Beijing, when Circus Hoy won his 3 golds and cycling really took off from there. And I've sort of was at the right age to really benefit from it. But yeah, as you say, now so many more kids are riding their bikes. So many more people know cycling is kind of a team sport and understand a lot more about it than back, you know, 20 years ago. So it's great to see. And the future is definitely bright. There's so many young, strong, good kids coming through that it's encouraging.
Would you like your own sort of range of signature bikes, like a sort of Chris Boardman styling? What are your thoughts about that?
I don't know. I think clothing might be a bit easier. But yeah, who knows? Never say never, right?
Yeah. I understand you've got a role within cycling that you're about to take up. Is that right?
Nothing's confirmed yet, but I'm chatting on Ineos, the team I'm in now. It's just a team that used to be Team Sky, so I've been there since 2010. So it's a home from home, really. And yeah, I feel like I got a lot of experience, obviously, knowledge to give back to the boys there and try to, you know, help them get their goals that they want to achieve. But yeah, hopefully that will come off, and in the next few weeks it will all be sorted. But nothing at the minute.
Have you had a chat with Mark Cavendish about what retirement is like? I mean, it's only been a short time for him, but there must be a bit of a period of transition for you.
Yeah, I have, and a lot of like the rugby players as well, like the Welsh boys that retired. You know, Ken Owens and Alan Wynne-Jones and these types of guys. And it is Shane Williams. It's I might do an Ironman or something just to keep me active. I just feel like after 20 years of always having a goal, always working towards something, it's weird to just totally shut down, you know? So, and an Ironman, at least he'll get you out of bed in the morning. He'll scare you a bit, won't it? So.
That's true.
Fantastic. Well, so you're doing a bit with Lloyd's at the moment, and the plan is just to try and get people out on the bike, just try and get them out there. And I mean, so many now pick up the electric bikes, but that's not a bad place to start. You've got to do some cycling before it kicks in, so it's not a bad place to get underway, is it?
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter what it is, you know, BMX mountain bike, electric bikes, you know, whatever takes your fancy, Bromptons, you know. I think it's just getting, yeah, exactly that, getting people active, more healthy, and just enjoying riding the bikes. And then, yeah, obviously then if there's kids that love it then and want to kick on and be competitive and race it, like I've been so lucky that I lived 2 miles from a track, and that's the only reason I took it up. Yeah. And the life I've had off the back of it has just been amazing. So, yeah, just making it more accessible is kind of the big goal.
Excellent. Well, look, congratulations on a great career. We look forward to seeing you in that Ironman soon. Thanks very much, Geraint.
Cheers. Thanks a lot, guys.
Geraint Jones there, and Geraint Thomas, I do apologise. Lloydsbank.com, about us, British Cycling. That's where you can go along to find out more about how you can get involved in cycling. You want to volunteer, local cycling groups, as Geraint just said there. You know, it goes back to Matthew Side's old thing about opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely.
He had a top table tennis coach just down the road, which gave him the opportunity to do it. Geraint says he had a club just down the road. Sometimes it's all about that, isn't it? So if you'd like to find out more, maybe there's a club around the corner from you. And yes, thanks to Geraint Thomas. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. We're going to be joined in the next hour by the co-author of a pretty worrying report into global warming and the way it's going to affect not just the future of football, but next year's World Cup. That's coming up shortly. We'll be chatting to the man in the next hour who completed a half marathon where every mile you get a glass of wine and a snack. The Alan Brazil Dream Half Marathon. We'll bring you more on that in the next hour. But first, Max Scott has the sports headlines.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Supporting van owners to get the job done. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Thank you, Paul. Good afternoon. We've been told England's spine of Pickford, Gahey, Rice, Bellingham and Kane should all start if fit. But with World Cup qualification almost secure, talkSPORT's Danny Murphy says there are probably 4 places in the 11 still up for grabs.
Elliot Anderson's done a brilliant job at trying to grasp that the last 2 games, but he's got a full season ahead of him to keep playing well. But he's got a chance. Left back's up for grabs. Next to Gahey's up for grabs. I think John Stones will still have something to say about that if he can get himself fit.
So it's high praise from Murphy for Elliot Anderson, but the Daily Mail's Craig Hope's gone one step further. He reckons this entire team should be built around Anderson.
I think referring to him as a 6 doesn't really do him justice. A 6 is someone who just sits in and dictates. Elliot Anderson gets around and dictates. Yes, he started in that domain in front of the back 4, but he was everywhere, and he's such a progressive, brave, courageous passer.
Thomas Tuchel's now challenging his England players to build on that 5-0 win in Serbia, which he's described as the purest teamwork. England fans also impressed. Their behaviour's been praised by police. That's despite a number of incidents involving Serbia supporters, including a laser pen shone in Ezri Konsa's face. Elsewhere, former Premier League referee David Koo has been charged with making an indecent video of a child. It's a Category A charge involving the most serious images. He will appear at Nottingham Magistrates Court tomorrow. For more on that breaking story, head to talksport.com. And Manchester City forward Omar Marmoush will miss this weekend's Manchester derby after getting injured away on international duty. The 26-year-old hurt his knee in the early stages of Egypt's World Cup qualifier with Burkina Faso last night.
talkSPORT News.
Poland's Prime Minister is warning his country is closer to armed conflict than at any other time since the Second World War. And the UK's ambassador to the US says he regrets his relationship with paedophile Jeffrey Epstein. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit, your go-to destination for quality tyres from great brands like Continental. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Rain and showers heavy and thundery at times, moving north-east through the day. Some sunny spells turning cooler from the west.
Good afternoon. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. We're going to be chatting to Andy Hepburn from The Times. He got a great gig. He's the deputy picture editor, but they said, Andy, do you fancy doing a half marathon where you get a glass of wine and a snack every mile? Funnily enough, he said yes. So he's going to be joining us for a chat. Adrian Durham, just before he gets on the plane from Belgrade, and Chris Radlinsky will be joining us as well, the CEO of Wigan Warriors. But first, a very worrying report published, Pitches in Peril. It's a collaboration between Football for Future and Common Goal, and it looks at the effects of climate change on the game in the immediate years and indeed in the future. And as we say, some pretty worrying findings from Football for Future. Their CEO, Elliot Arthur Warsop, joins us. Elliot, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, guys. How's it going?
Yeah, we're good, thank you.
Come a little bit closer on the mic.
Yeah, I'm slightly, as I said, I say we're good, but based on this report, we're probably not. I mean, we've seen a couple of examples in the States already. We saw an incident in the NFL where a game was held up for 65 minutes, the first opening game of the season, because of adverse weather conditions. We saw the effects of the heat in the Club World Cup.
5 games were disrupted.
Indeed. So this is, I'll use the phrase tip of the iceberg, but that's probably not a great idea. But you know what I mean? This is the shape of things to come, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, over the last few years, at least here in the UK, climate change has become a lot more on people's radars than generally, since I guess we had that COP over here and a lot of the protests that happened. And it's quite an abstract thing, a lot of the time with crises, often we don't appreciate them until they're on your doorstep.
Yeah.
Even with the same with COVID, and food poverty, it's often like lived experiences that make you relate to them and care about them. So what we are trying to do is use the language of football to frame the climate crisis in ways that become relatable to people. We don't want to talk about, being vegan or being perfect or carbon parts per million or anything like that. We're just trying to talk about how it's affecting football, which is the most powerful social phenomenon in the world.
Yeah.
And
one thing that's good for you is that sort of heat does affect football. It makes football less good. In the summer we saw the players really struggling, and we're going to see it next summer in the World Cup. In 1994, the American World Cup was hot enough.
Yeah, the infamous Jack Charlton moment when lots and lots of drink breaks.
You do worry about the players' health.
Well, you say 10 of the 16 stadiums hosting World Cup games already breach safe play limits because of the extreme heat. I mean, it is a concern going in, but they're pretty stark numbers.
Yeah, they're really stark numbers. So we developed a methodology whereby we looked at across all these different climate risks, and we developed thresholds. If some didn't exist with regards to the speed of wind, the amount of water that will cause pitches to be waterlogged, they're not quite universally agreed because it depends on the exact location. But for example, when it comes to extreme heat, that's quite a universally aligned metric. We used wet bulb globe temperature, which is used by FIFA and FIFPro and various elite sports governing bodies, and we can see how many stadiums or how many venues or locations anywhere in the world we have the power to do this, to understand how many days a year are they going to be passing these thresholds where fundamentally football just becomes unsafe for the most important people who are involved, which is not only the athletes and the officials who are on the pitch, but also the fans who are going to be in the stands.
I think eventually all World Cups are going to be like Qatar. They're going to be winter World Cups. They're going to have to be. And actually, despite everything that people said beforehand, it was a great World Cup, and the football was great because it was played in temperatures of around 70, which is perfect for football.
Yeah, exactly. So you touched on something really important there, which is adaptation. We're seeing in order for football to continue, it has to be adapted in order for us to play in safe conditions, whether this is moving entire tournaments to other times of the year, longer drinks breaks, maybe slower games, where the players are adapting the way that the style of which they play as well. There's various ways in which the sport can be adapted. I was speaking with, we got, I think, about 15 professional players in the end who were supporting us on this campaign. We had Juan Mata, who won the World Cup, Serge Gnabry, Alexi Rojas, who plays for Arsenal now. He's training with the first team for the first time in his career, which is really exciting. He plays for the Colombian under-23s. But he was saying the same thing. Even if you are forced to compromise your health as an athlete and play in these extreme conditions, especially heat, which is the most common one, the game it loses its intensity. It stops being as fun to play. You can't perform to your best, and it's not as exciting for the fans. So even the integrity of the entertainment is at risk here as well.
It's not just at the top end, it's grassroots as well. To make it relatable, you've got some sort of ambassadors or people you spoke to, and we'll come on to that in a moment, from the world of football that have their concerns. But Mo Salah's home ground faces a month of unplayable heat each year. Pele's hometown, 5 times the number of unplayable heat days. William Troost-Ekong, who joined us in the studio a little while ago, his childhood pitch in Nigeria, 338 days of extreme heat annually. We've got Tim Cahill's old pitch in Australia. There's 7 metres of flooding, and even Son Heung-min's home pitch in Seoul, because of extreme rainfall of climate change, means that's unplayable quite a lot of the time. So I'd say relatable to the top stars, but at grassroots level, really.
I think it's only really, this is very admirable, all this, but with football, what governs football more than anything else, and that's money. And until it starts to hit football in the pockets, i.e. the game isn't as good, people don't enjoy the World Cups as much, then you'll see changes. But you do worry that before that, it's the only thing that drives change in football, in my view. But I might be wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
No, you're totally right. And, the most important thing in football as well is performance, which often, when we talk about sustainability, you never want to compromise performance. And the governing bodies and the businesses that run the game, they don't want to compromise their sort of financial imperatives. And that's, understandable. At the same time, in the report as well, there are financial implications that we've measured in terms of the infrastructure to the stadiums, like how much it's going to cost stadiums per year to be repairing from extreme winds and floods, etc. when you talk about the grassroots game as well, it's unfortunate, but the reality is grassroots football is way more at risk. It's super vulnerable, and obviously grassroots pitches, especially around the world, have contributed a lot less to the issues that we're seeing, and they're on the front line of the problems. And then that's one disparity, but then also within grassroots football, all of the pitches that we looked at that were in the global south are facing more than 7 times the unplayable days compared to the grassroots in the global north as well. So the more we unpack it, the more the bigger the picture that we see, and it also mirrors sort of like the wider world in which we live. It's not just football.
And that's maybe some kids, whether it's Lionel Messi, whoever, who's out there just playing in a field, in a park somewhere, maybe not able to do that because of the conditions. And, that's a next generation of superstars that maybe don't train on.
Completely agree. That's probably the scariest part of it, is that the next generation of football players will not have the same access to pitches and safe places to play, to develop. And the Messis, Ronaldos, Salahs, Rapinos, the Leo Williamsons of tomorrow, all around the world, might not have access to those safe spaces to play, which is incredibly scary. By 2050, there could be more than 1.2 billion climate refugees around the world, and if that's the case, they're not going to have access to safe places to live, let alone safe places to play, and that's incredibly scary.
You do sense, as Andy said, after the World Cup next year, maybe you can pop back in, because you do feel like it's going to be a shop window. I mean that in the nicest possible way, for people to suddenly sit up and realise, as Andy said, a real world event like that, and how it's probably likely to be affected by the weather in different ways, for people to sit up and say, yeah, we've got a problem.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the World Cup is every tournament says that they want to be more than a tournament, but we can really see how FIFA and governing bodies and the host cities use this moment, because it is an opportunity to talk about the reality of the issue that we're facing, and the organisations, individuals, and institutions that are acknowledging the realities, not burying their heads in the sand, and have the opportunity to lead the way.
There's quite a lot of people in America that do that, though. You've got to counter those people who say it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
You're
right.
In '94, it's always hot. It's summer. That's what you're fighting.
It's true. There's a lot of climate skepticism in the world, and no matter what it is that you talk about, you're never going to have 100% of people agreeing with what you're saying. And I think it's just about listening to the people who are the experts, trying to educate ourselves from reliable sources, and also looking at the facts and looking at the stats and the lived experiences with people who are living through difficult situations, whether that's climate change or whether that's any other type of other social injustice that exists out there.
Where can people read Pitches in Peril then?
So yeah, you can check out Pitches in Peril now. We launched it yesterday. It's on our website. If you can, search Football for Future, lands on our website, and it's right on the homepage. And shout out to Common Goal, who've been a fantastic partner through this, and Jupiter Intelligence, who was our climate risk analysis partner on it as well.
I'm sure we'll talk again. Elliot, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you, guys.
Elliot Arthur-Worsop there, from Football for Future, their CEO. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Yes, another Andy. Andy Hepburn joins us. Half marathon with wine stops. Wow, it sounds like a dream. And Adrian Durham's going to join us before he heads back to the UK from Belgrade. That's all to come. We're here with Tool Station, ready to help at over 580 stations nationwide. Next stop, Tool Station. Now, time is ticking. With under 2 weeks to go, enter now for your chance to win £25,000 and tickets to Oasis' final Wembley gig. It's our biggest competition yet, so don't look back in anger. Here's how to enter.
18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word Oasis to 83338 and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission. Or you can enter for free by calling 0330 880 3338. All entries must be received by the 19th of September at 9 a.m. This is a talkSPORT limited promotion run on talkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com.
It is Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. We're going to hear a little bit more from Rick Astley later on, who joined us for a chat this morning. And we're going to talk Manchester United with him after 3 o'clock. But before that, I take it was a cry across the Times editorial office. Anyone fancy doing a half marathon where you get free wine and snacks on your way round? And our next guest arm went up immediately. It's called the Bacchus Wine Half Marathon around the Denby's estate through the North Downs. It looked beautiful in the pictures. A lot of fancy dress going on and a lot of wine being drunk. Usually the deputy picture editor for the Times, Andy Hepburn, answered the call. It's very selfless of him. And he joins us now. Good afternoon, Andy.
Good afternoon. Yeah, I took one for the team.
Yeah, well done. It was very good of you. You run a bit.
Yeah,
you run a bit.
You look like a runner.
Yeah,
I do run. I normally do like triathlon, so I'm reasonably fit, I'd say.
So I was talking out of touch, saying you get every mile you get a drink and a snack. It's not quite like that, but there's still 6 wine stops, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, and they weren't too shy about giving you a refill either. So. Probably had a slightly more than 6. I think if there had been a stop every mile, I would have struggled to get over the finish line.
Were you inebriated by the end?
Yeah, I was. I was pretty steaming by the end of it, to be honest.
I mean, what effect did it? Somebody who does run a bit. By the time you get to mile 13, you did say you're feeling ever so slightly hungover. I mean, carry on.
Because it was warm as well. Yeah. I felt like, have I got a hangover creeping in already? This is this is unusual.
Yeah. I mean, is it dangerous potentially? I suppose you weren't looking to do a time. No, everybody was just doing it as a bit of a fun run, weren't they?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, I didn't see anyone treating it too seriously, but then I guess I wouldn't have because I was getting a couple of refills and making sure I got plenty of cheese and biscuits to keep me going.
Yeah, not normal runners.
And I tell you, there's plenty of water to be had as well for everybody who's doing it.
Yeah, there was water there as well for the lightweights.
This was a kind of a sort of offshoot of a thing called Marathon du Médoc, which is a thing they do in Bordeaux. So this is the British equivalent, is it?
Yeah, I think this is much safer doing a half marathon. I said to my friend as I was doing it that I think it'd be hard work doing 23 wine stops and a full marathon in one day.
Yeah, there is Tom Gilby in London. I'm reading about it. So I sort of in the back.
We spoke to Tom on the show.
Yeah, I remember him.
He did the London Marathon, didn't he? And he had he's a sommelier. That's right.
25 different wines he tried during the 26.2 miles.
So, He looked pretty worse for wear by the end of it as well.
Yeah, I don't imagine he would be.
You didn't go fancy dress, no?
No, I was intending to, but then it ended up being quite a busy news week last week, and I never actually got round to ordering a costume in time, and then I'd left it too late. Amazon couldn't get me the chosen wine costume quick enough. So,
what were you going to go for? Had you had the chance?
I was planning to be a giant wine bottle, but I'm also quite glad that I didn't, because I think it would have been hard work in a boiling hot costume at 20 degrees as well. It would have made it even more difficult.
There was people dressed as grapes, I understand.
Yeah. I thought I saw Alan Brazil for a second. It was just someone dressed up.
I think Alan, if anybody's going to get him back in his trainers, it sounds like him and Ray Parlour. It sounds like this. Ray could do it. Ray's in great nick. So Ray could probably do this. Maybe
he's still running.
Push this under his nose, this feature, and see if it can.
There's also the beer mile I see here, which is basically a similar idea, but you drink beer. I would imagine
that's just a mile, is it?
Yeah.
So you drink beer for a mile? What is it? I mean, how does that work?
Typically, the race takes place on a standard 400-metre track.
Right.
And I think you have a 12 fluid ounce beer every lap. So basically 4 beers. But still.
Okay, you fancy taking on some other boozy runs now? You've done this one, Andy?
I might do. I did actually. I haven't done it yet, but I have actually planned a beer half marathon round Chelmsford, where you with stops for half pints. I don't think I can manage pints, but I haven't done that one yet. I've put it out there to my friends, and there's a few interested parties.
I'm doing the shots marathon.
Oh yes, yeah. You're not good on shots, Andy. I wouldn't do that if I was you.
At the end.
So, did you discover any wines that are sort of now in the old wine cabinet? Did you get a liking for any?
They're really good wines, actually. The red was really nice, and there was a really nice white one that they put with an onion bhaji. That was pretty good as well.
Yes, I saw that. You finished off with you got a little chocolate brownie to give you a sugar rush on the last mile.
Yeah, it's a sparkling wine they gave with us. That's the only one where they're really strict about one glass. I saw a few people trying to sneak round the back of the queue, but they got busted straight away. And
it sounds like you have like live music, a bit like the London Marathon. So would you recommend this? It's an annual thing, is it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'd definitely recommend it. Really good fun, really good atmosphere. Everyone in fancy dress. I left at 3:00 because I had to tackle the London Underground. Right. But as we were leaving, there's people still dressed up as bananas and everything else, dancing around, singing to Mr. Brightside. So the party is still in full swing when I left.
Yeah. Or you think that you'd probably had a drink. You probably imagined it. That's right.
Yeah, true.
Thank you, Andy. Thanks very much.
No worries. Thanks a lot.
There we are. That's the Times. Andy Hepburn, who took on the Bacchus Wine Half Marathon, if you fancy it, for next year. Let's see if we can get Ray to enter. In an Alan Brazil costume.
Why not?
That would be fantastic. Full prosthetics. We'll get the guys in. That would be good, wouldn't it? It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT.
You're probably taking about 4 hours to look like Alan.
Yeah.
It's taken Alan about 60 years. So
yes, exactly. 4 hours is a full price to pay. Adrian Durham joins us, about to board the plane from Belgrade after being the host for England's fine win against Serbia last night. We'll get his take on the game last night, get his thoughts on the match. That's all to come.
Thomas Tuchel says his England players should get the credit they deserve after that thumping win in Serbia.
I saw a hard-working team, I saw a physical team today that helped each other out, love to play with each other, love to work for each other.
Well, the boss now has selection headaches with Madueke, Anderson and Rodgers all performing well. Konsa and Gahey also look pretty composed at the back, and John Terry has told talkSPORT Tuchel needs a choice of versatile defenders.
You've got to be adaptable in the national level as well. I see that I played, I think in one tournament I played with 4 different partners.
Well, England's supporters also impressed. They've been praised by Serbian police, but there were several incidents involving the home fans and the game was stopped after a laser pen was shone in Konsa's face. Elsewhere, Craig Bellamy hopes Wales meet Canada again, but this time in a World Cup. He's fuming with Jesse Marsh, who shook his own coach's hands before the final whistle. The Canadians beat Wales 1-0. Republic of Ireland boss Heimir Hallgrimsson admits he'll consider his position following a 2-1 defeat to 105th ranked Armenia. And the owners of the financially stricken rugby league side Salford Red Devils are facing questions over trying to buy their stadium using a fake bank statement. But co-owner Curtis Brown has told The Sun every document we've supplied has been true and accurate.
We'll catch up with Adrian Durham very shortly. Before that, the Moose spent some time with John Terry, former England and Chelsea captain, was able to ask him about that 5-0 win against Serbia last night.
Good performance, I thought, especially after the first game, which, played against Andorra, really tough to kind of break down and make it really difficult. So good to see an exciting performance from the boys.
Going forward, yeah, but in your position as central defence, do you agree that probably we still need to nail down who properly plays alongside Mark Gahey game in, game out?
Well, I'm not sure because Stones has been injured a little bit. So Ezra's come in and done well. There's other players that can come in, and Levi's out and kind of injured himself at the minute as well. So, you've got to be adaptable in the national level as well. I see that I think in one tournament I played with 4 different partners, and you have to be adaptable and you have to have the quality first of all for them to come in and keep the same level. And I think a lot of them have that as well. So hopefully whoever comes in or replaces that next person is going to be the very same level.
John Terry there chatting to Ian Abrahams. And
Can't wait till the 7th of December. John's birthday.
Oh, okay, right.
You can guarantee.
Yeah, my good friend. Great catching up with. Yeah, we know it's coming on social media with the Moose. Anyway, we spoke to Terry Butcher earlier on. He said he liked the sort of Konsa-Gay partnership. But it's a good problem to have, a bit of strength in depth, not just at centre-back either. Adrian Durham, I'm sure, was a much happier... Well, we know he was. We were listening to him. A much happier man after last night's performance. Before he gets on the plane home, he joins us now. Good afternoon, Aid.
Yeah, much happier. How good was that? We're going to win the World Cup.
Yeah, let's not get carried away.
Adrian, why did you take that whistle into the ground last night?
I thought that was a bit much.
Honestly, it was a bit much.
They were desperately trying. I thought the players did well despite that, actually, because it was quite loud. And there were many times, I don't know if you heard the commentary with Jim Proudfoot, thought it was full-time when it went, and it wasn't actually the full-time whistle.
The only one he wasn't for was the ref who told everybody to play on for another minute. That was clearly...
He knew you hadn't blown.
That was a Serbian throwing in the towel. now, I think. As we were saying earlier on, what we don't want to do is try and fit all these players in. This age-old problem, Andy was making the point that England have had. Well, can this one play with that one? Why do we have to drop one of them? Let's get a system. Let's put the players who are playing well at that moment in that system, and then have the strength in depth and the ability to change it.
Now, to be fair to Thomas Tuchel, in the midst of these fairly mind-numbing qualifiers that we've all had to endure, he has consistently said he can see the signs, the players are getting the message, there is a system, and he wants them to stick at it and work at it, and he feels confident that it will show through in the end. Well, last night was the fruits of all of that. There is a system, the 4-1-4-1. The wingers are dynamic. They get to the byline. They give their fullbacks problems, which pushes fullbacks back. It forces their wingers back as well, forces their midfield back to defend. So I think the system that Thomas Tuchel is putting in place, the players enjoy it as well. So I think that's crucial. There's not going to be many dissenters from it. And listen, if you're good enough, you'll get in that team. I don't think he's a respecter of reputation. So I think it's looking good. Without me going as far as to say we're going to win the World Cup, last night I thought was a massive positive step beyond just the result.
Yeah, you need the system, and you need 14 or 15 very, very world-class good players to fit it. I mean, I saw Henry Winter, and I really respect Henry, but he was saying, oh, well, when Saka comes back, Madueke can play on the left-hand side. That's exactly what you don't want to do. That's not where he likes to play. I know he plays there for Chelsea and Arsenal, but that's not his position. You're much better, if you're going to play inverted wingers, you're much better with Gordon or Grealish or whoever you think is going to be down that side. I'm not in favour of this, trying to get both players in.
No, exactly right. And I also think what you said about Thomas Tuchel not respecting reputations, I think in some senses he does, because he admires what professional footballers have done. But in terms of the team he's going to pick, he has to be looking at Noni Madueke and thinking, this guy has been brilliant for me so far, so why would I ignore him? Bukayo Saka has to earn his place back in the team. And also, look, John Terry just talked about centre-backs there. John Stones hasn't played for a year for England. He hasn't played under Thomas Tuchel. So just because he might get fit for Manchester City doesn't mean he just walks straight back in the England team, because I thought the duo last night were brilliant. Gay is an absolute certainty. Conser's decent. Dan Burn has done okay, and he will be in the squad because he's a good teammate as much as anything else. And as you say, Colwell needs to get fit as well. There are other options there, and this is the beauty of it. For example, at left back, I thought we had a massive problem at left back, and then in the last few months, all of a sudden, there's 2 or 3 options, and we're going to be okay in that position.
One thing Tuchel does do, sorry, Paul,
it's all right,
is he plays Reece James in his proper position, even if he's a bit inverted. He plays him to get crosses in, as opposed to Chelsea sort of play him as a right half, which I don't really understand when you've got one of the best fullbacks in the world. But there you go.
Yeah, and he's so good when he's fit, and we're just hoping he stays fit, because this could be the end of Trent Alexander-Arnold's international career. When you think about it, Reece James stays fit. Does Trent get back in? Probably not. As good as he is, he's got to have a real good run at Real Madrid and produce at Real Madrid to even get back in the England squad. So Reece James staying fit, I think, is crucial for England to operate at full pelt in that right back position. I think he's been excellent in this camp.
We shouldn't get carried away, because we've had these kind of statement wins before. Remember the 4-1 against Croatia, the Walcott game under Capello, the infamous 5-0 where Germany went on to play in the final. So, look, we have to put it in perspective, don't we really, Adrian?
We do, yeah. And I think when you go back to those games, there was a lot of playing on the break. In those 2 particular games you're talking about, the Croatia away with the Walcott hat-trick, the 5-1 in Germany with the Owen hat-trick. There was a lot of playing on the break. The opponent, the home side, had the ball a lot. With this one last night, England dominated from start to finish. The tempo was so high. In the first 10 minutes, you go back and watch the first 10 minutes, it was phenomenal. And a little bit of rustiness in terms of the final ball in. Otherwise, it could have been 2 or 3 up in the first 10 minutes. Eventually, they made the breakthrough. And what we really loved about it last night in the talkSPORT commentary with Stuart Pearce was the fact that even at 3, 4, 5-0 up, they didn't take the foot off the gas. They just wanted more and more goals. I absolutely loved that about that performance. It was never going to be a case of, right, we're 1-0 up, let's shut up shop, see where we go. And this is one of the things levelled at Gareth Southgate. And you all know I'm a big admirer of what Gareth did with England from start to finish. It was monumental. And I'm not sure anybody else could have done that particular job with the baggage England have got. But in the 2 finals he reached, we went 1-0 up and sat back. We got to 1-1 against Spain and sat back for extra time and lost it. So I don't think, on the evidence of last night, I don't think Thomas Tuchel is going to be that kind of guy.
Yeah.
No, we were saying earlier on to Terry Butcher that just how disappointing Serbia were. We expected a lot more from them. We expected them to be a bit more progressive and a bit bolder, and Stojkovic really got it wrong, didn't he? And so they were left without a shot on target. So he'll be under a bit of pressure today, I'm sure.
Well, he's under pressure mainly because he's a big supporter of the president here in Serbia, and the fans were chanting about that during the game. So that's a big problem for him. I can't see him with a future as Serbian coach. But in terms of the system that he used last night and the people he played, the players he picked, we were all absolutely stunned by the subs bench. So, yeah, it was a really strange one from him. A game Serbia had to win and they got it badly wrong, but England properly put them to the sword.
Your marks, Adrian, did anybody get a bad one, or were they all sort of 9s and 10s yesterday?
Well, Stuart and Jim have been ribbing me about the marks. They think I've overhyped Jordan Pickford's performance. I've got a little bit of a problem because Jordan Pickford's so hard to mark because if you look back at these qualifiers, there's been several games where he hasn't had a shot to save. There's been nothing on target from the competition. And the last two, Andorra and this one last night, nothing on target. So, well, how do you judge him? How do you give him a mark? Well, I look at his distribution. There was a little glitch in the second half. But actually, at times, I think it's a team game. And if you win 5-0 away, you look kind of beyond the individual performance and scrutiny to say, well, look, as a team, that's brilliant. Let's all give them a minimum 7. So, yeah, there were some big marks. There were 4 9s, including Tuchel. Morgan Rogers got a 9. Elliot Anderson got a 9 as well. Madueke got a 9. So, yeah, listen, if they play well, I'll say they play well. If they play badly, I'll say they play badly. It's not rocket science.
It's fair enough.
Yeah.
Morgan Rogers, that's his best game for some time. It hasn't been brilliant for Villa so far this season, but he was terrific last night.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, Adrian, we'll let you get on the plane, but we'll catch up with you soon. All the best.
Cheers.
Take care. There's Adrian Durham there, your host last night for the game between England and Serbia. And Jermaine Defoe, former England striker, is going to be on breakfast tomorrow morning. So I'm sure he'll be talking about Thomas Tuchel and, of course, about Daniel Levy, the changes there. He'll have a bit of Sunderland for you, I'm sure, and the start they've made in the Premier League. And, of course, it is a bit of a Jermaine Defoe derby at the weekend. Spurs go to West Ham on Saturday. So Jermaine Defoe from 6 tomorrow on breakfast. Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. A little bit later on in the show, Rupert Bell will join us. An interesting cover of the Racing Post. So there's no racing today in the UK. We touched on that yesterday. And we're also going to talk golf. Andy Murray wants to try his hand. That's right, tennis is Andy Murray wants to try his hand at Open qualifying. He's been playing a lot of golf and he's getting pretty good at it. I'm sure Rupert has seen him play over the years at a tournament because he's done some Pro-Am. So we'll get his thoughts on that. Talk about those Villa players that they didn't really take their league form into the game. They were better than they've been playing in the league, really, in some cases. And Tim Vickery joins us with all the news of the South American qualifying. And more from Rick Astley. Will be playing you a little bit more of that chat with him, focusing on his love of Manchester United. That's all to come. We're here with Tool Station, standing behind every single tradesperson of Britain. Next stop, Tool Station. Good afternoon, it's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Now, today is World Suicide Prevention Day, and sport has come together, as you'd imagine it would, to play its part and to look to help people across the board. I saw some information from the LMA today, League Managers Association, and Rugby League is also playing its part today, especially Wigan Warriors, who have a sort of sad personal memory of this. They lost one of their great players, Terry Newton, took his own life back in 2010. One of Terry's friends and teammates, and now CEO of Wigan Warriors, Chris Radlinsky, joins us. Hello, Chris.
Hey, good afternoon, gents.
I see you. You all came together, you and some of Terry's old teammates and current Wigan players, and Terry's family came together for the opening of the Terry Newton Community Garden. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, well, we were kind of staggered to hear that our little town of Wigan, that we all think is pretty special, has got, one of the highest suicide rates in the country, which was really difficult for us all to hear. So, in the position that we are in, and our role in the community and the people we represent, we have a responsibility to do something about it. And this year marks the 15th anniversary of Terry's death. So it was, we brought all some of his ex-teammates in, and we spoke to the current team just about how important it is we look out for each other and look for signs. And, none of us really know what's going on behind closed doors. So we just used the opportunity to raise some awareness, but also celebrate Terry's legacy and, get his family in to kind of understand what a pretty cool guy he was.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing, and it's even more shocking when you actually know the person, because you're just left with all these questions that you couldn't see it, or you didn't know why it's happened to me. You just go round and round thinking, could you have done something about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think in the weeks that passed, we all kind of reflected on, our most recent conversations with him, and we, reread text messages, etc., to see if there was any signs. And I think modern society, we've come a long way, and we talk about mental health, and we encourage open conversations. But potentially, there are more hurdles in society today, particularly around social media and personal image and constant exposure, etc. So, in some ways, we're getting better, but there are more hurdles to overcome.
What are you able to offer as a club? What does the game of rugby league you feel offer at the moment, Chris, if players do want to reach out and need help?
Well, I think one of the strengths of rugby league is that we're absolutely connected and ingrained in our communities, and we're accessible. So, in the towns that we represent, we encourage people to talk to us. Our players are ingrained in the community. Most of them live in the town, and again, they are accessible. So, they know their role within the town and the responsibility they have to the people they represent. So I guess we're not sitting here with all the answers. We're sitting here saying we'll listen, we understand, and we're here if you want to talk, really.
And you lost one of your many fans, one of your super fans, didn't you? Quite recently, he was a regular at Andy's Man Club, which we've talked about before on the show. Darren Orme.
Yeah, he was a well-known Wiganer. Probably more of a Wigan Athletic fan, but over the years we've tried many things to try and get the rugby league club and the football club to work together. But the way I look at it, you'll always be a rugby league fan, or you'll always be a football fan. But what that case did with Darren, it brought the community together, and perhaps this young man who sadly passed away, his greatest legacy is that he united the town, which is a wonderful thing. But listen, like I said, it's talking about it. We're talking about it more than ever before, and we're here for people.
Absolutely, that is good to hear. We are at the business end of the season, Chris. It's an interesting time for rugby league. We chat to a player every Thursday as we preview our talkSPORT commentary games, and we tend not to get into the weeds of all the politics that's going on, but you're a CEO these days, so there's a couple of questions I'd like to put to you. The league expansion is sort of still being discussed. 12 clubs apparently have bid to join the expanded 14-team Super League. When they had the first meeting at the end of July, it became evident that you abstained at Wigan, and from what I understand is that you felt you needed more information to make the right decision. I mean, obviously more has come out. You've had sort of 6 weeks to ponder it, and we've now got these 12 clubs showing an interest. How do you feel about it now?
Well, listen, the process was voted through. Our club abstained on the back that we didn't have the required information, and as I sit here in front of you today, we've still not received that information, if I'm being honest with you. So the process has started. There are clubs have applied to come into Super League, but my club is strongly concerned about the financial sustainability moving forward. And until we have that information, we're pretty much in the dark to see what that looks like.
Do you think the league can't sustain it? Do you worry about sort of people being promoted maybe above their ability and lots of dead rubbers, which can turn people off, of course?
Well, listen. This year we've got a very live example where one of our great clubs with an incredible history, Salford, are struggling to get to the end of the season. So we need to make sure that instances like that aren't repeated, and that can only be done with rigor and financial analysis and conversations. And all we want is to get into that detail, and I don't believe that's been presented at this time.
So effectively, you as a body have got to make this call, but as you say, at the moment, you don't feel you've got all the information you need to do that. So it's a bit of a. You're probably not alone in this, are you?
Well, there are a couple of clubs who want a bit more information, but it was a vote, so that the vote was passed, and I think the new clubs coming in will be announced after the grand final. I think it's around about October the 16th. And in this interim period now, we'll keep pushing for answers. I don't believe we are being difficult, and I don't believe we are being disruptive. What we're trying to do is secure the future of the sport and not rush into decisions, which, I believe we are doing at this moment in time. The NRL will announce or have announced new teams going in, but that was done on the back of 2 years worth of due diligence, lobbying local government, regional government, putting business plans in, player pathways, sponsorship, etc. And I don't believe we've gone to that level of detail at this moment in time.
And on a more upbeat note, you were a real pioneer for Vegas, and you went off there at Wigan and Warrington last year. This time it's Hull KR and Leeds' turn. Obviously the fact that everybody's going back again to be part of it would suggest it was a success. And do you think you see it becoming a regular fixture now?
I hope so. I think it was the NRL. It was their baby that they're trying to crack the American market. And I guess a chance email from me asking could I be part of it was got us the invite. I think what caught the NRL by surprise was just the amount of British people who went over there. It was and it's a very cultural, different supporter base than in Australia. In Australia, they perhaps do not get into the singing and chanting like the English crowds do. So we brought a real value to the occasion, and it was wonderful for our club, and it was wonderful for Warrington. But I kind of said all along, success would be 2 other clubs going the year after, and exposing their fans and their clubs to a great experience.
And the other great thing was that it was a bit like the Challenge Cup final, because fans of a lot of other teams went. It wasn't just your fans and Warrington fans. It was a bit of a festival for sort of British Rugby League fans.
It was, and Las Vegas is one of the most exciting cities in the world. But for them 7 days, up and down the strip, the sport of rugby league was on the side of hotels, on LED billboards, and it was a real celebration where everybody from our sport went over there to enjoy it. And our team won't be going back next year, but I'll be going with my family to experience it again, because it was like I said, it was rugby league on a different planet for me.
Excellent. All the best for the playoffs, Chris. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Chris Radlinsky there, joining us on World Suicide Prevention Day, remembering his former teammate. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. We'll play you a little bit more of our chat with Rick Astley very shortly. We talked a fair bit of Manchester United, and we'll bring you that. We're going to hear from Callum Hudson-Odoi.
Hearing that.
Yeah, interesting stuff he's had to say today. And Tim Vickery is going to join us from Rio. We've had all the South American qualifying. I think we know we're going to be in the playoffs now. And Rupert Bell joins us as well to cover a bit of golf, a bit of racing, and indeed some football. That's all coming up in the final hour.
Sports Update powered by the Nissan Van Range. Score a winning hat-trick of performance, payload and price. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Yes, Brazil have not had the greatest World Cup qualifying. They're through, spoiler alert, but not with any great distinction. We'll find out more from Tim Vickery a little bit later on, but first, Max Scott has the sport headlines.
Thank you, Paul. Top performances from England's young talent will bring the best out of the likes of Jude Bellingham. That's according to Simon Jordan.
If you've got a swathe of young players that are proving to be able to step up to international level in the positions where the established order is already there, the Bellinghams that we talk about, then you keep Bellingham focused. You keep him honest in terms of his intentions and what he feels he has to deliver for his country.
The Daily Mail's Craig Hope told talkSPORT Thomas Tuchel should build his team around Elliot Anderson and not Bellingham. He doesn't think Jude, Saka or Palmer walked straight back into the side after that 5-0 win in Serbia.
Last night was the first big performance free of Bellingham. No one is disputing he is a wonderful player, but I thought in his absence last night, Morgan Rogers absolutely stepped up.
Nottingham Forest's Callum Hudson-Odoi has spoken exclusively to talkSPORT after Nuno Espirito Santo was sacked by the club. He gave Troy Deeney his reaction to the news.
For myself, it improved me a lot. I think it matured my game a lot and made me understand a lot more about the game. And yeah, it had a massive impact on me, I'll be honest. And I think that it's a sad day to see what happened, but at the end of the day, excited for the new chapter as well. And I wish him nothing but the best for the future.
We'll bring you more from that exclusive sit-down with Callum Hudson-Odoi throughout the afternoon. In the last few minutes, Forest have announced Postecoglou's backroom staff, including former Premier League midfielder Mal Jedinak. And his first game in charge away at Arsenal is live on talkSPORT in the early kick-off Saturday. And former Premier League referee David Coo has been charged with making a Category A indecent video of a child. He will appear at Nottingham Magistrates Court tomorrow. There's more on the website at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
Russia says it had no plans to target Poland after its drones were shot down in the country's airspace overnight. And Britain's ambassador to the US says he regrets his relationship with paedophile Jeffrey Epstein. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. With a huge range of premium brands available, we've got what you need to drive away happy every time. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Rain and showers, heavy and thundery at times, moving northeast through the day. Some sunny spells turning cooler from the west.
Of course, is Rick Astley, as if he didn't need telling. Where have you been? And we sat down with him a little bit earlier on today here at talkSPORT and had a bit of a rambling chat. We brought you some of it a little bit earlier on in the show. If you want to see the full chat, it's up on the talkSPORT YouTube channel now. So this is part two. We did talk a lot of Manchester United, but we kicked off because he had mentioned Oasis and knowing Noel Gallagher a bit in the first part. But we wondered whether he'd gone to see Oasis yet on tour.
I saw him in Manchester, it was amazing, really incredible. Have you guys been?
I've not. No, I've not been on.
We're giving away a lot of tickets for it.
I saw
competitions.
Snaffle. No, Main Road sort of in there when they played there. So it'd be interesting to see.
I felt it was pretty emotional. I think for one thing, I was struggling for the right word there, but it was emotional. One of the things my wife and I loved about it was that it felt comfortable because I know back in the day it was a bit rowdy and it felt like there was a lot of love in that audience and everyone's over the kind of like lad culture and all of that. It was just like, let's just enjoy this because this is epic. And talk about set lists, it's just phenomenal. You have to kind of take your hat off and just go, that is an amazing bunch of songs. And they nailed it. They were so good. And it just felt really lovely to be there. It felt like, probably lovely is not a word they want to use to describe it, but it was like, you looked around and thought, there's 80,000 people here, and everyone's kind of like that with everybody.
Everybody. I mean, it's funny. I read a piece in the paper the other day saying it's turned in for two guys that were sort of almost
fist fighting each other for years. It's turned into a sort of feel-good event of the summer, which is odd, isn't it?
But also, I think because that story's been around for so long that they're like this.
Yeah.
So I think even in a different walk of life, could be in football, could be whatever. But for someone who's really been at each other and all the rest of it, and won't be in the same room, it's kind of amazing, especially with a joyous thing like music, that they've managed to, let's just leave that. Let's just do this. Yeah. And who knows whether they'll do it again? I hope they do, because everyone needs to see that gig if they can. It's really, really an amazing gig, I think.
Going back to your tour, are you slipping one of those Smith songs in the
No, because I think, like I say, it's its own universe, really.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm still in touch with the guys a lot, actually. I saw Tom very recently, actually, funnily enough. And yeah, I think we might even get in their rehearsal space in Stockport and do it for ourselves.
Oh, nice one.
Because, you know what I mean? We don't have to do it for anybody else. They're just amazing songs. And it was a bit of a roast, I think, for them to learn them, because they're very intricate at times, but I don't think I'd ever play one
Not
in my
your
set.
show.
That's a level of
different world.
Far away,
We should
United.
We should talk a bit of football, Rick. You are, I would say, you've been on the station a couple of times before. You're a Manchester United fan. I remember you on with Napoli, and Andy Townsend a few years back, and you were. It wasn't at this time for Manchester United. Things haven't massively picked up. Really, how are you feeling at the moment?
I don't know, to be honest. I really don't know. I mean, the game at Grimsby, was it Grimsby?
Grimsby.
Yeah. See, I've even blocked it out of my mind. Was almost to the point of something out of a bad movie.
It was like parody, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like imagine them losing to Grimsby. Oh, they've lost to Grimsby.
Yeah, it was almost like the game I had most kind of like feeling for was the opening game against Arsenal.
Yeah, they played well.
Yeah,
because Arsenal have been great this last few seasons, and I thought, well, if we can sort of just about hold them off, and we had a few opportunities as well, and it was a bit of a goalkeeping error. I think that was just one of those things where just needed a bit more on it, and it could have ended 0-0. And I think if we would have started the season 0-0 against Arsenal, I think everyone would have gone, okay. I think most teams would like to go 0-0 against Arsenal this year. Do you know what I mean?
The stats actually that came out this morning, you'll be encouraged by that. United have created more chances than anybody. It's really amazing. They just missed a load of chances.
Yeah, and I think that's... as a guy, I really like Højlund. It just didn't work for him.
Yeah.
It just did not work. And I'm convinced he's going to go and score goals this season. I'm absolutely convinced of it. He just wasn't going to be able to do it in there. And it's like, I always forget this guy's name, the really big, tall Dutch fellow who came for a season, came from Burnley.
Yeah.
It's like
cart horse, as Andy used to call him.
Everybody in the ground, even opposing fans in the ground were going, just score, mate, score. And then he went to the Euros or whatever it was, and he scored 2 goals for Holland.
Yeah, in the world.
And you're like, well,
I think that shirt does weigh heavy. It's funny.
It's true.
Mbeumo's been talking about it today. It's been a tough.
Really?
It is. Yeah. It's tough, isn't it?
It is. And also, you're not even moving into, as you say, like a heavy shirt in a team that's firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, sure.
Everything's been a bit off for a long time. And I don't know how I feel about it. I'm still want to watch the games. I still feel like a United fan. I'm probably going to feel like that for the rest of my life, hopefully. Yeah. But
it's the derby, isn't it, this week?
Yeah.
Big game.
Yeah. And that's
good time to play City.
It is a bit weird. It's weird to see, listen, 3 games in, I know, but it's weird to see where City are, because for the previous, let's say 10 or 12 years or whatever it's been, I don't know, for a long time, they've never been out of the top 5, even in the first few games. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, they're going to be up there because they're not going to. So, but I think, again, I wouldn't take too much stock in where they are right now either. I still think it's ridiculously early to start calling anything. But Liverpool are on fire. Have to struggle to say that, but they are. Yeah. It's one of the things I love about the Premiership. It's quite unpredictable. And I think for certain seasons, it's been very predictable. There's always a bit of a wobble for teams, but you could sort of say, well, they're going to be in the top 5, and that'll be that. And now, I don't know, really. It's I thought Newcastle were going to come super mega strong, but it's like they're...
Oh, no, they'll be good. They've got some strikers.
Yeah.
Right.
It's been lovely talking to you, Rick. It's great that we didn't nearly kill you off like the One Show did the other night. We had some water to hand. You had a bit of a coughing fit, didn't you?
I did indeed. It's going to haunt me that for the rest of my life, I think. Yeah. No, thankfully I had Ronan.
It's going to be on those Channel 5
as a wingman.
TV moments.
It wasn't that bad.
Well, honestly, it felt that bad.
No, you covered it up really well.
No, it's just that weird thing, isn't it? You're on live TV and you're about to have a coughing fit and what have you. Yeah, but thankfully Ronan's done a lot of TV. He knew the score. I think he knew what was going on without, So
it wasn't Heimlich. No one was trying to.
No, he just poured a gallon of water down.
Well, best of luck with the tour.
Cheers, thank you.
Tickets are now available. rickastley.co.uk. Kicks off in Glasgow on the 10th of April next year, and he'll be playing a big room near you. Newcastle, Belfast, Dublin, Liverpool, Manchester, Leeds, Bournemouth, Cardiff, Nottingham, Birmingham. Finish at the O2 on the 25th of April. Yeah, lovely to see you, Rick. Thanks very much.
Brilliant, thank you. Thanks for having me.
There we are, Rick Astley. We caught up with him a little bit earlier.
Yeah,
lovely fella.
Very nice man.
Yeah,
great. Yeah, I really
enjoy that. So,
really
go and catch him on the Reflection Tour next year.
Mm.
So, as you heard in the bulletin with Max there, Callum Hudson-Odoi has been sitting down with our own Troy Deeney today, and we heard what he thought about Nuno's departure. But what about the arrival of Ange Postecoglou? Let's find out.
Yeah, I just wait to see what happens. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather just wait and see how he is. And as I said, yeah, it was a session. It was a session, I'll be honest. But yeah, it was good. It's good. Like, I think for us, you rather wait and see what happens than to be asking so many questions, because everyone has different opinions. So I'd rather just wait and see myself and judge it for myself, yeah. So yeah, it was good. As you said, for us, it's building that relationship with him early and getting them that stuff of ideas of what he wants to bring into the team. And obviously for us, as I said, as players, when the manager comes in, you have to make sure that you get that quickly, because games happen fast and there's one coming on Saturday. So for us, it's just making sure we're ready, we're prepared, and make sure that everyone's just knowing what he wants us to do and trying to hopefully imply that in the game.
I bet he did ask Jed Spence what it was like.
Of course he did.
As soon as he got the news, I would have thought.
Coming off a kind of inexplicable loss, though, that was such a strange result. I mean, West Ham, credit to them, but they've been absolutely terrible. And to go to a place like Forest, which is a really difficult place to go to, and win so convincingly, it was a surprising result.
I just think there may be that maybe that sort of pushed Marinakis over the edge, because as soon as they let that first goal in, they really did fall apart as soon as Bowen scored that goal. And they hadn't been great, really, beforehand in the match. They were, for them, really quite flat, considering it was at home. It's not normally like that there. So maybe that was it. Maybe the players were feeding off of what was going on, because they knew there was a problem. When your manager sits there and says,
that's what
I'm not, not getting on to the... And he's clearly got a problem with Edu, so it was, maybe it was for the best. We shall find out. Ange has got a very good squad, which they've strengthened in January. They've put some very good players in.
Oh, yeah. I think he's got plenty to work with. And Nuno won't be out of a job for very long, that's for sure.
We'll be playing more of that interview between Callum Hudson-Odoi and Troy Deeney throughout the day here on talkSPORT. But we're going to be in South America next. Tim Vickery joins us from Rio. Their qualifying has got to the playoff stage. And all the because of the way South American qualifying works, all the usual suspects are there, but some have covered themselves in more glory than others. Tim will tell us more in a few moments' time. We're here with Tool Station. Next stop, Tool Station. Time once again to head to Rio because South American World Cup qualifying is over. We know who's through and we know who's in the playoffs. Tim Vickery joins us as always. Good afternoon, Tim.
Good afternoon. I'm going to miss it. I love these qualification games. In comparison with Europe, where so many of the games there's this. Oh, it's not very good, is it? But no. Here it's competitive. And I was worried going into this campaign because given the fact that more are going through, it was 4+1. It's now 6+1 of 7 teams. So I was thinking it's going to be a bit pointless. And it really wasn't. It was great all the way from the first to the last. And especially as next time around, 2030, because Uruguay, Argentina and Paraguay are all getting a game. I assume that they're going to qualify automatically, leaving only 7 teams.
Wow.
So it's going to be a while, I think, before we see a World Cup qualification campaign as good as this one.
Brazil have had their lowest table position, I think, ever, which is a great start for Ancelotti, although it's not entirely his fault. But, not great going into a World Cup, is it?
No, and if this was any previous World Cup, they would still have to go through a playoff.
Wow.
Because they finished 5th, and that was the playoff position. And they're only ahead of Paraguay, who are 6th on goal difference. There's a lot of work to be done. A lot of work to be done. And under Ancelotti, he steadied the ship. And then 4 games he had, and the last one was last night, which is at the extreme altitude of Bolivia. It's just not a normal game. And they went down there 1-0 to a VAR penalty. So that's Ancelotti hasn't been a catastrophe, but he knows he's got a lot of work to do. There is a lot of talent there, and I suppose a lot of people will be making a comparison between 2002, when they only just qualified and really were very lucky to qualify. And we all know what happened in the end. They got their act together and they won the World Cup. So I think people are looking for that one as a kind of omen.
Yes, exactly what I've written down. Brazil have got some great players, and I think he'll get it right. I do. He's a great manager. And they've got time, haven't they, Tim, to get it right? They've only got to get it right next summer. That's it.
They haven't got a lot of games, though. They've got friendlies in October, November and March. And with Europe still going through World Cup qualification, it's difficult to get decent opponents. So October, it looks like they're going to Japan and South Korea. November's going to be a couple of African sides, and they'll only have March to play against European opposition. So it's not a lot. It helps, I think, that Ancelotti is the great simplifier. And there's 1 or 2 things we know. He's got his central little nucleus, and the team is going to be Alisson in goal, who was terrific again last night. It's going to be Marquinhos and Gabriel Magalhães at centre-back. It's going to be Casemiro and Bruno Guimarães through the middle. It's going to be Vini. There'll be a place for Rafinha somewhere. He still wants, I think, to go with 2 wingers and Vini a little bit inside. And how he's going to balance that up, especially in the harder games. And they played Chile on last Thursday at home, and Chile just sent a joke side, really. And it was Casemiro and Bruno Guimarães with so much space to cover. And Casemiro, after the game, he was saying, "No, we're not going to be able to do that against the best sides. We're going to have to pay," because he knows.
Where does Andre Santos fit in then? Because surely he's a better bet than Casemiro. He's getting pretty old now.
He played last night in place of Casemiro, who was suspended, and that's another problem with Casemiro. As he's slowed up a little bit, he does pick up cards. But Casemiro was the thing that Ancelotti insisted on when he came back. He'd been out of the fold for over a year, and it's the first thing he did, bring him back. Just to bring a little bit of structure and organisation. And one thing that has certainly happened since Casemiro came back, Bruno Guimarães has been better. Because the functions there are clear. Casemiro will protect the space and play the first ball out, and that frees Bruno a little bit. But I would be a little bit worried about Casemiro in a World Cup in extreme heat. He's going to pick up cards, and they'll have to protect him a little bit. But Ancelotti sees him as this, because remember the game before he took over, they went down 4-1 to Argentina when they were lucky to get 1 and Argentina unlucky to get only 4. It was a massacre. So Casemiro is almost like an extension of Ancelotti on the pitch, giving him a little bit of structure and organisation.
Argentina won the group. They lost last night to Ecuador. And Messi didn't play, but we had all the kind of the send-off at the weekend. Do you believe him when he says he doesn't think he'll be there for the World Cup?
No, I don't. Although I think he still hasn't 100% decided. He wants to leave himself a little bit of wiggle room there because, you know, in the race between time and the athlete, there's only ever one winner, isn't there? But I think the thing that has really benefited him, the coach and the team is that options have emerged. They're not on the team for years. It's been him and his fan club. And it's been utterly dependent on him. When they won the Copa America last year, they beat Colombia in the final. They actually got better after he got subbed. And the best performance, back in March, they won away to Uruguay, and then that demolition of Brazil, he wasn't there. And the little partnership between Thiago Almada and Julian Alvarez, who are now together on a weekly basis at Atletico Madrid, that has emerged. So there's options there. So it's not as dependent on him as it was. So with the pressure off a little bit, I think he will do it. Although he's worried about not being able to live up to what he's been for so many years in the past.
Be quite handy coming off the bench, though, wouldn't he?
Well, again, that's a possibility. They've done that in a couple of games in World Cup qualification. He doesn't have to start all the time now. So I think the pressure is just off him a little bit. And when they get it right, when the game against Venezuela last Thursday, they were having such fun. Because you got little partnerships all over the place. You got Messi
he scored
and
two
Alvarez,
nice goals, didn't he?
And he laid on the third. He was terrific. And it just looks, you know, how can you resist that? One last go. How can you resist it?
And what a way to go. Can you see them retaining it, Tim, from what you've seen in qualifying?
They're beautiful to watch when they hit their stride. The thing that concerns me is it's exactly the same defensive unit as went to Qatar. And if you remember that World Cup, they collapsed in the end against Australia. The defence. They collapsed in the end against Holland. They collapsed in the end against France. And no one's really come through. And it's Otamendi's still there.
And he got sent off last night, didn't he? Yes.
He got a straight red, so he might well not be available for the first game. But, you know, you kind of think that in one of these knockout games, it's going to cost them. There's new. I don't think you can really replace Di Maria either. And Di Maria is such a special talent. It's hard to replace him and what he gives. And remember, no one has ever done it. They'll be trying to do what no one has ever done, which is retain the World Cup in a different continent. So if I'm going to bet, I'll probably get some of Andy's money and bet with that, but not with a lot of conviction.
Di Maria was very good in the Club World Cup, surprisingly good, really, in those conditions. Will he not be part of this? Was he retired from international football?
Yeah, he retired after the Copa America. If I was the coach, I would maybe be knocking on. Do you fancy it? Do you fancy one last go? But it seems I was chatting about this to Argentine journalists in the week, and it seems that door is closed, which is a shame because I don't think I've ever seen anyone like him. A genuinely world-class player, a massive player in big games who just seemed quite happy not to have an ego and be in Messi's shadow. That makes him so useful, but I don't think we're going to see him again, which I regret.
And we had a Luis Suarez hat-trick last night, but not that Luis Suarez.
Four
he got, sorry, wow.
Yes. And well, this decided the playoff place because Venezuela win at home to Colombia. They've got the playoff place, and Venezuela started like a train. They were 1-up after 3 minutes. They were 2-1 up after 12, and then the whole pressure of it got too much, and they collapsed, and they were taken apart on the break. Luis Suarez, who has bounced around, I think he might have been on Watford's books, but he didn't get a game for him, and bounced around a number. He's at Sporting Lisbon now, and he's a reserve striker. This was his only start of the competition, and James Rodriguez kept on laying him up, and he kept on scoring. So he got 4 last night. Venezuela lost the first set 6-3 at home to Colombia, but unfortunately it's the last set as well because and I do feel sorry for them because they weren't far off, and for a Generation 9 great player for them. Not going to happen for him. No World Cup for Rondon, and that's they were close, and the dream was alive, and all they had to do was win last night. They hadn't been beaten at home. Their home record was great, but so close can sometimes be agonisingly far away.
And Bolivia got a very soft penalty as well, didn't they? It was very soft.
It's the kind of penalty that you get all the time in Brazilian football.
Right.
I mean, the Brazilian refereeing specialist said, clear pen. And I'm thinking, is it really? You could see it was tackled by Bruno Guimarães. And you can see when he did it, he's a little bit worried. And he looks at the referee. But I wouldn't have given it. But there you go. On such matters, our playoff place is decided.
Yeah, absolutely.
What surprised me on the news this morning that Cristiano Ronaldo has equalled the World Cup qualifying goal scoring record.
Yeah,
and alongside Guatemala's Carlos Ruiz. I've never heard of this player.
I don't think that's Tim's patch, Guatemala, is it?
No, but even so,
No,
you must have heard of him. I've never heard of him.
Oh yeah, yes. But you got to remember who he was up against in World Cup qualifying, and he never got to the tournament. But he was banging him in against Suriname.
Amazing,
and the likes.
Incredible. Well, he's obviously done very well.
Yeah,
from that point
congratulations. Thank you, Tim. We'll catch you with you next week.
Look forward to it. Cheers.
Tim Vickery there, our man on South American football. Those stories are being covered over on talkSPORT.com. Still to come with us, Rupert Bell, a man of many hats. He'll have the golf cap on. He'll have the jockey's cap on. And indeed, what would he wear for football?
Bobble hat.
A bobble hat, yeah, I'll have that on as well. So we'll cover some ground with Rupert. Andy Murray wants to play the Open Golf. He's been playing a lot of golf since retiring from tennis. And he's pretty good. He's getting better. So we'll find out about his chances of doing that with Rupert. And we'll have a Paddy's challenge before that as well.
Thomas Tuchel says his England players should get the credit they deserve after that thumping win in Serbia.
I saw a hard-working team, I saw a physical team today that helped each other out, love to play with each other, love to work for each other.
Well, the boss now has selection headaches with Madueke, Anderson and Rodgers all performing well. Konza and Gahey also look pretty composed at the back, and John Terry has told talkSPORT Tuchel needs a choice of versatile defenders.
You've got to be adaptable in the national level as well. I see that I think in one tournament I played with 4 different partners.
Well, England's supporters also impressed. They've been praised by Serbian police, but there were several incidents involving the home fans, and the game was stopped after a laser pen was shone in Konza's face. Elsewhere, Craig Bellamy hopes Wales meet Canada again, but this time in a World Cup. He's fuming with Jesse Marsh, who shook his own coach's hands before the final whistle. The Canadians beat Wales 1-0. Republic of Ireland boss Heimir Hallgrimsson admits he'll consider his position following a 2-1 defeat to 105th ranked Armenia. And the owners of the financially stricken rugby league side Salford Red Devils are facing questions over trying to buy their stadium using a fake bank statement. But co-owner Curtis Brown has told The Sun every document we've supplied has been true and accurate.
Paddy's Challenge on talkSPORT with Hawksbee Jacobs. What critics are calling one of the many radio quiz segments happening this week. Paddy Power. 18 plus BeGambleAware.org.
It's time now for Paddy's Challenge, our quiz for charity in association with our friends and official betting partner Paddy Power. In Paddy's Challenge, we put our knowledge of the wonderful world of sport to the test with a chance of raising lots of cash for our nominated charities. I'm playing for the Sporting Memories Network, Andy raising funds for the Shen UK. Helping to manage proceedings, as always, here's guest quizmaster, king of weekend overnights, Ben Fletcher. Good afternoon, Flet.
Good afternoon, gents. How are we doing?
Not too bad.
I have to apologise to the viewing dozens. I've not had a chance to plug my headphones in properly, so I've got the Mickey out of Rocky vibes.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's not the that's not where I normally go to, but I won't go into what I think hanging the headphones down the front looks like, but we'll move on.
This is a family show.
Yeah.
So, in Paddy's Challenge, you'll each be asked 3 multiple-choice questions, usually posed by the voice of Paddy Power, Alistair McGowan, but he's away this week, so I'll be doing the honours. The winner will be the player that scores the most points. In the event of a tie, you'll both win the chance to raise some cash for your charities. Andy won last week and backed England to score 4 or more goals against Andorra last weekend.
Brilliant.
We'll know what happened on the night. A 2-0 win. Everyone was bored to tears. No win there, so let's see if...
I got the wrong game. I should have got the
wrong game, yeah. We can raise some more cash for your charities this week.
Yeah.
The virtual coin toss has determined that it will be Paul that goes first on this occasion. And in the absence of Alistair McGowan and his hefty voiceover fee, I will get underway as soon as the oft-played tension bed is started by the highly paid technical department.
There we go.
There we go. How's that for a segue?
Yeah.
Paul, question 1. Rory McIlroy held his nerve to win the Irish Open last weekend in a dramatic playoff and claim his first victory since completing the career Grand Slam at the Masters in April. Including this one, how many wins has he racked up this year? Is it A, 5, B, 3 or C, 4?
Golly. 4.
1 point to Paul.
Was that a complete guess?
Oh, absolutely was.
They are
I would have gone 4 as well.
Yeah, middle diddle, as they say. They
Well,
are
that's the way to do it.
Pebble Beach Pro-Am, the Players' Championship, the Masters, and the Irish Open. So 1-0 to Paul. I'll strategically hold the script so that Andy can't see it.
Okay, yeah, he's
So
not
there
a
is
cheat.
no,
He's also can't read from that distance, so
Well,
the double whammy.
I was kind of banking on that.
Yeah.
Andy, question 1. In the NFL, Indianapolis Colts quarterback Daniel Jones led 7 scoring drives to end an unwanted streak of how many straight years without winning a season opener? Was it 11 years, 7 years, or 5 years? A, 11, B, 7, or C, 5?
Well, I've got to work. It was 2013 when it happened because I was watching. It's now 2025.
That'll make it 12 years.
12 years. So
Right.
whoever's done that question has got it wrong.
Well, why don't you go to the nearest? Are you going to 11?
I'll go 11.
1 point to Andy.
Well done, Andy. See, you know better than the multiple choice answers.
Complaints at TalkSport.
Well, you should get an extra point for that.
I heard it.
But you're not going to.
I was watching when it happened. So
Yeah, well, it goes back to the conversation we've had many times about a lot of people sat around doing the same job not very well, but maybe a conversation for another day.
Yeah, fair enough.
Just to say, before Sunday, the last time Indianapolis picked up a victory in the first week of the NFL season was back in September 2013 against the Oakland Raiders.
Just to remind you, Fletch, you've got more to lose.
2013 to 25 is 12 years.
Yeah, you've got more to lose from your cutting asides than you had before, so just bear that in mind.
Absolutely right. hey, listen, the ink's dry on that contract now. Don't worry about that. Question 2, Paul, in F1. Oh, here we go. Max Verstappen's win for Red Bull at the Italian Grand Prix was one for the record books, being the fastest ever race in the sport's history. Who held the previous record, which had stood for 22 years? Was it A, David Coulthard, B, Michael Schumacher, or C, Rubens Barrichello? Barrichello.
I'm now tempted to go Barrichello because you got it wrong, and that it maybe is a sign, but Schumacher did so much then. Schumacher.
Good one.
Oh, the mind game didn't work. Yeah, despite Verstappen's win, still 63 points behind McLaren's Lando Norris, 94 points behind Oscar Piastri, who leads the Drivers' Championship. If that means anything whatsoever to you.
Right.
Andy, your second question. Cycling Olympian Geraint Thomas's career ended in Cardiff last weekend, crossed the finish line of the Tour of Britain. In which year did he win the Tour de France? Was it A, 2018, B, 2017, or C, 2020?
I'm going to say 2017. It's a pure guess.
Was
we spoke to him earlier on, and it says
I've
yes,
got that in front of me.
Geraint Thomas, 2018 Tour de France champion. But you're not a cheat, Andy. You wouldn't do that.
That's unfair.
A career that spanned 3 decades, yielded 2 Olympic gold medals, 3 world titles, a Commonwealth gold, countless other race wins, and cycling's greatest prize of all, the Tour de France.
He should have won it in 2007.
Did he win it?
He was robbed.
Did he win a TalkSport trophy, though?
Yeah.
I've got 2. Paul, question 3. Although I can't get up that Mid-Hope Road on my Apollo Jeopardy mountain bike. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Paul, question 3. Heavyweight boxer Deontay Wilder recently revealed he has no plans to retire anytime soon. What age did the 39-year-old bronze bomber say he plans to carry on to, age-wise? A, 50, B, 45, or C, 55?
Blimey. 50 seems a nice round number. I'll go for 50.
Game, set and match. Paul.
Absolutely right. In light of his recent triumph over Terrell Herndon, Wilder now believes he's capable of boxing until he is 50. So there we go. Paul, you've won, but in the interest of forced fun and filling the section out completely, we'll continue with Andy's third and final question. Question 3, Andy. In the Women's Super League, Everton beat Liverpool 4-1 last weekend. The scoring included a hat-trick. It's the first time that's happened in a men's or women's Merseyside derby for Everton since which player scored one back in 1931? A, Dixie Dean, B, Tommy Lawton, C, Jock Dodds. You are going with Dixie Dean, which is...
2 out of 3. Not bad at all.
The correct answer. It's funny how Alistair's there to comment on the scores but not dish out the questions, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hashtag production. It was Everton's women's 5th Merseyside derby win in 5 games at Anfield. So, a 3-2 win for Paul.
Yeah.
Congratulations to you. You are today's winner. You have a free £20 bet that Paddy Power will place for you, so you can try and win some cash for your charity. It just remains for me to ask, what are you going to go for?
It's Angie's back at Forest. We've got the game on TalkSport 12:30 on Saturday against Arsenal, and it is written that the player that Tottenham tried to sign but couldn't is going to have an impact on the game. So I'm going to go for Morgan Gibbs-White to score or assist at any time.
How about that? We'll see how you get on and reveal the winnings next week.
And you're back. What time, Fletch?
I'll be back Saturday morning and Sunday morning on talkSPORT. We'll be saying goodbye to Rick Davies of Supertramp, who we lost this week.
Okay.
We're catching up with Ian Danter, who's looking ahead to Birmingham Stoke, among other things. Sorry, I know you didn't ask me to plug this.
No,
I
was inviting you to plug the show. Maybe not in that depth.
No, but Supertramp, of course,
a famous clip on TalkSPORT.
Yeah. So we'll say farewell to him. Look ahead to the weekend's football. Check in with Lanzarote FC, the team we're supporting this season, and much else besides.
Fantastic.
Can't wait.
There we are. King of overnights at weekends, Ben Fletcher. So there we are. That's another Paddy's Challenge. Thanks to our friends at Paddy Power. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Paddy's Challenge on talkSPORT with Paddy Power. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Thank you very much, Fletch. We're going to be hearing from Rupert Bell. Andy Murray wants to play in the Open.
He does.
And his golf is coming on a treat. But is it good enough to get him in the Open qualifying? Before that, though, talkSPORT are entering the YouTube golf world.
Welcome. This is talkSPORT Golf Channel. Get in, Ollie Fisher, you beauty.
How far do you reckon that's gone?
I don't know, 350 maybe, 360?
Oh dear, you've been timing them a bit, haven't you?
I need to hit balls.
It would help if you clean your gloves before you use them.
Balls.
Oh, that's your best today.
Ollie Fisher, you absolute edge.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so there we are. If you head over to the talkSPORT, it's the new... Oh, sorry, it's an effect still to come. The new talkSPORT Golf channel on YouTube now to watch the first video of host Jamie O'Hara playing alongside former European Tour winner Ollie Mr. 59 Fisher as the boys attempt to break the course record at the famous Centurion Club. That's talkSPORT Golf on YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe.
Me and Rupert Bell are doing 3-day eventing YouTube channel.
That'll be good. Badminton YouTube with Tool Station. Stay one step ahead, whatever the job. Next stop, Tool Station. So yes, Andy Murray, tennis legend, wants to play at the Open, and his game's going in the right direction. And just before we talk to Rupert Bello, I'm sure has seen him at Wildinga Golf Club in the past. He caught up with the Moose today. Andy Murray spoke to the Moose, who was at the Wentworth Pro-Am. And he talked about regretting that he'd not taken up golf sooner.
I love it. I love the practicing. I like competing. I like spending time with friends or going to like new places. You know, I travelled to lots of great cities when I was playing tennis, but never played any golf there. And now now that I'm into my golf, it's like, I went to Melbourne like 18, 20 times when I was playing tennis, and they've got like 3 of the top 15, 20 golf courses in the world, and never went to any of them. And it's a pretty long way to go back for a golf trip. I'm not sure my wife would let me take, a week, 10 days to go over to Australia to play golf.
Absolutely tipping it down, as you can hear at Wentworth there. Our thanks to the Moose. So I think he's looking to get down to scratch, and then you pays your money. I think, is it a couple of grand?
I thought it was 200.
Was it only 200? Yeah. Okay, maybe. Let's find out. Rupert Bell, of course, a man of many sporting hats, joins us. Good afternoon, Rupert.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, so you can enter the Open. You've got to be a scratch golfer. And is it 200 or is it 2,000?
Dan, I'm not sure of the amount, but what it is, to be even scratch is probably not good enough to get into the modern Open.
No, so I think you can do that just to kind of get the chance to try and qualify.
Yeah, and there used to be stories of people with extraordinary handicaps finding a way of getting into the system and then suddenly turn up at Open qualifying and then they'd shoot 90. For Andy Murray, obviously for him, he was such a competitive beast as a tennis player. He needs something to keep his competitive juices flowing. And obviously he's got the golfing bug. He's playing in the BMW PGA Pro-Am today. And, it's all part and loving being in front of the crowd. But obviously it's giving him some sort of incentive. Get down to scratch and then see where the game takes him. And it's not something that... It's not unusual for tennis players to want to go this route. Tim Henman is an extremely good golfer. I think he may be nearly scratch, but has never thought about suddenly trying maybe to go into the Open and qualify. Yevgeny Kafelnikov is perhaps the best known former tennis player who went the golfing route, and it played, I think, a few professional tournaments, but not particularly with any great distinction. So it will be a big ask, but I can see why he wants to do it. And who's to say that he won't? Because what he achieved on the tennis court was amazing, maximising his talent. And I'm sure he'll be wanting to maximise his golfing talent. But when you see the quality of the young golfers around now, even those playing in last week's Walker Cup, it is frightening, the standard. It's all right being a willing and eager amateur, but to try and make that cross over to suddenly playing in the biggest tournament of them all, well, that is maybe even for Andy Murray a step too far. But I applaud his ambition.
Yeah, it was 200.
It was,
you're
yeah.
right. £200 and scratch allows you to go and try to qualify. So we'll see how he gets on. The Racing Post had a very powerful cover today. I think showed the listeners. It's just a plain black cover. And in very small type, it says, for the first time ever, Racing has voluntarily cancelled all the meetings scheduled for today in protest at government tax proposals that would be catastrophic for the sport. To understand why this matters and why racing is important for Britain, read on, they said, and they lay out what the issues are. What have you made of it all? So many of them descended on Westminster today to lobby MPs, Rupert.
Yeah, and bearing in mind tube strikes and everything. So for people coming from outside London, it's going to be quite a logistical exercise. And I do know that it has certainly got the racing industry united. Today, in fact, in Newmarket, there was a funeral of which many trainers and racing people would have gone to remember the life of Bruce Raymond, a very successful jockey and also worked for a long time in racing post his riding career. So people have given up the opportunity to do that, to come into London, to put their voice to the lobbying that's going on. And I know the Culture Secretary and various other MPs, I'm sure, will be there. having their ear bent by the racing fraternity, because they are genuinely concerned that the increase in this tax, taking it up to 21%, will have a long-term impact on where racing sits and in its ability to employ people at all levels, not just, racing stables, but maybe race courses, the money that is coming into the sport. And they're trying to stress that this is a huge employer, not just necessarily in yards, but the knock-on effect that racing has and how many people benefit from racing taking place in this country as Britain's second most attended sport across the year, behind football. It shows it has a significant part, and they are doing their best. But but Rachel Reeves' hands feel pretty tied at the moment, and whether she can find a way to maybe not bring this up and levelling up, as they would say, and saying cutting out the bureaucracy and making it a sort of one size fits all. But racing's case is it's not one size fits all. We are a special case. We are different from the gaming and lottery and the sort of casino element of bookmakers, slot machines, and we are a different, they say, a very different beast, and needs to be taken into account. But
if they could sorry, Rupert. I was going to say, if they could get the percentage down, would that?
Yeah, that you kind of.
Is there any room in there for that?
You do sense that could happen. We spoke to Rafe Beckett yesterday about this, and you do sense there might have to be a compromise, even if it went up marginally. There may have to be a compromise.
I think, you see, that maybe is where racing's going to have to. They will have to find a way of compromising, because Rachel Reeves is in need of money. The problem is the rural community probably feels a bit beleaguered at the moment. The farmers are revolting. They are upset with the changes that have come in, and and maybe they're saying that the current government don't actually take into account the rural community. Now, you can have all sorts of views on that, but for racing, that's the case they've got to make. And the problem is, you suddenly feel racing have come to this, but they've been slow off the mark many ways. And this, I suppose, for the first time, you're actually seeing racing doing something on a united front, because at times the sport can be completely, one side, the Trainers Federation, they race courses want one thing, jockeys want another thing, and it can be a very disjointed sport. But for once, they are coming together. They're in Westminster as we speak, lobbying away. And will it fall on deaf ears? Remains to be seen.
Yeah.
November will tell us all. But racing is doing its best to make its case, as you say, with this unprecedented move of cancelling racing today, which will cost racing money. Bookmakers saying, what they would normally expect on betting, it will still have an impact. So they don't want to, they must have, it was a hard decision to take.
30 seconds on Villa. You'll be hoping that the Villa boys who played last night will take their international form back to Villa Park. Conser and Morgan Rogers especially. Yeah, well, Morgan Rogers has played absolutely, extremely ordinary in our first three games this season. That's what I said to you. I was going to say something, the bleep button may have had to come out, but so he's been pretty ordinary, but he back to his best. So hopefully when we go to Everton, where there's going to be Jack Grealish firing on all cylinders against Conser and Mings, it will be interesting. But it was great to see Conser play well. Three Villa players on the park last night at various stages in a good victory. So hopefully that confidence will now start, and we can actually find a way of putting the ball in the back of the net, because we haven't done so far this season. Excellent. Rupert, thank you as always. No problem. Rupert Bell covering some ground for us there, sports-wise. I'll be back with Charlie Baker tomorrow. Andy will be here for the birthday spread, of course. So do hope you can join us from 1. But coming up next with another busy drive time show, it's Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent.